listening to the Bourbon Nerdz podcast. Bourbon Nerdz special feature presentation, episode 1, Redwood Empire Strikes Back.
This
the opening crawl is going right now.
All right, we've got
Palpatine's return.
Yeah, you've been drinking too much. No, I'm just joking. Welcome back to a special edition of the Bourbon Nerdz. May the 4th
be
with you. Featuring special guest Ethan Adams, editor, father,
good buddy,
Star Wars lover,
Jaguars fan, hater of the Star Wars universe.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah,
I think,
it
for
is.
pretty much
It
any
is.
actual Star Wars fan out there.
Yeah, how do you feel, Ethan, being back on the podcast? This is the third time, right?
Yeah, you guys just must like me a little bit. Or
The
something.
trilogy.
He's a bourbon nerd, really. Like he's been here since day one with us. So
Yeah, more nerd than bourbon, but yeah, he's good.
we're more than a nerd.
Yeah.
We're bourbon nerds.
Bourbon
Hey,
nerds
I
for
do
sure.
have 3 bottles of bourbon at my house right now.
Oh my god!
Baller.
Are you guys proud?
Yeah, and this
One of them
economy,
was purchased by you guys, but
purchased by the Bourbon Nerds. No, we've got. This is actually. I've been really looking forward to this episode.
We've been talking about this since almost day one. Like, man,
Yeah.
Redwood Empire, we got to do it. And I was like, we have to do it May the 4th. Like, it really sucks because I really been wanting to do this episode for a long time now.
Yeah, and this episode is going to be a little different. We are going to highlight Redwood Empire, which we think is a really good distillery. It's actually one of Garrett's probably favorite. I do like them. I don't want to act like I don't, but he does favor them more than I do. So,
do you guys think that in 10 years, maybe they'll go away and come back as the Redwood First Order?
ooh, they could.
Maybe we'll figure out where the first order came from.
Yeah.
We won't.
Just, we're here. Surprise.
First order. Our first order is to drink some bourbon here.
Yeah, what kind of bourbon we got?
We've got a couple. So in front of us, we've got the standard offering, the Redwood Empire Pipe Dream, which is actually a really good, I think one of their standard offerings from them. And then what do you have you've brought for us as well?
Well, so their standard offerings are the Pipe Dream, the Emerald Giant, and then the Lost Monarch, which unfortunately I don't have a bottle of Lost Monarch. I do, however, I pretty much have every Pipe Dream. So I have the Pipe Dream 101, the Pipe Dream Cast Strength, which they do the cast strength for each of their 3 main offerings. They also have 2 bottled in bonds. They have the Rocket Top Rye and the Grizzly Beast Bourbon, which are both very good, but they're a little pricey. I think they're $85. And then also have the Screaming Titan, which is a weeder. It's one of their special releases. I actually have the batch 1. And then we have a few samples from our buddy Theron, who's very generous.
Thank you, Theron.
We
Appreciate
have
it.
the Haystack Needle, which I believe this one, so they used to release older Haystack that was like sourced, but I believe this Haystack Needle is actually their own distillate now, which they kind of mix and match their own distillate with sourcing. So they kind of, hopefully one day they'll just be doing their own stuff, but I mean, they make good stuff. And then also have the Devil's Tower, which is a rye, and then the Foggy Burl, which is a single malt. So we have a lot of different offerings for Redwood Empire to try today. But I believe in our glasses right now, we have the Pipe Dream regular offering and the Pipe Dream 101. So what are we thinking so far?
Yeah, so I'm obviously leaning towards the proof and the 101. I think the finish on it's a little bit better, but I want to talk a little bit about their standard offerings. Go back to Pipe Dream is in age anywhere from 4 to 14 years, according to sources, and all of their standard offerings are 90 proof. They run them anywhere from $30 to $36 range, depending on your area. I know in this economy things are going up, so depends on where you're at. But I do think they're all 3 very unique offerings. I want to talk about the Pipe Dream mash bill. It's 73% corn, 18% rye, 5% malted barley, and 4% wheat. It's actually a 4-grain.
Yeah, a lot of their stuff is actually 4 grain. They have a few that are 2 or 3, but I know there are quite a few with the 4 grain, which I actually enjoy.
Yeah. And for you newbies out there that don't know, when someone says 4 grain, it just means they have 4 different grains that they put in their bourbon. Their rye is a 92% rye, 5% malted barley, and 3% wheat. And then the Lost Monarch, which is a blend of their bourbon rye, is 55% rye and 45% bourbon. And again, these are all 90 proof. Pretty good. I think pretty solid. Lost Monarch typically is the people's favorite, but
For the regular offering, I've heard the
for the
cast
regular.
strength is like one of the worst out of the 3,
I have
which is
also
interesting. You add some proof and it's not as good. I don't know.
Yeah, a couple interesting things that I learned about them. One, they use level 3 char, which is just how they burn their barrels. They season all their barrels before they use them for a minimum of 36 months, 53-gallon barrels. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting. They have the largest rick house in California. They locally source out of all of their grains out of the Sacramento Valley. And I think one of the coolest things about this distillery, Go Save the Planet, is that every bottle you buy, they plant a tree. So,
which is crazy. I think they've planted like something like
1,744,165. I'm ready.
Something like that, yeah.
okay.
On the dot. I literally looked it up like 5 minutes ago.
Got it. Yeah, that's a lot of trees, man.
That's a lot of bottles of bourbon.
It is a lot of bottles. Thank you. Save the planet.
So real quick about Redwood Empire, they were founded by Derek Benham in 2014 and started production at its distillery in Grayton. I don't know. It's in California.
Groton, I think.
It's Graton. The company is now owned by Purple Brands of Petaluma, California. Their whiskey is known for its California branding and innovative expressions, and the company has grown significantly with volume increasing 30% in 2024. So they're continually growing. They do a lot of really cool stuff. They're super proud of their ryes, which I haven't really tried a ton of their ryes, actually. So
they've been around for 11 years at this point, and they've sold over 1 million bottles of bourbon.
1.7 million to be exact.
Wow.
I think it's marketing. I mean, if you go into a store and you're looking at a shelf, like something like a label like these are just going to catch your eye. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened to me. Like actually the Lost Monarch was one of my first favorite bourbons that I actually really, really liked. And I drank that bottle like really quick. And I like the Pipe Dream. I like the Screaming Titan. Like everything I've had from them, I've enjoyed. So
honestly, who out of like craft distilleries like this, especially their grain to glass, who has better labels than them? I can't think of one that. I know there's some that have cool labels.
Good Times does some cool stuff.
Yeah, Good Times has some decent labels.
I feel like a lot of these places are really old, and there's like they're kind of iconic labels, and they probably don't want to change that too much. You know,
fair, but I really like the uniqueness.
And then there's some that are just like gimmicky. You can just tell they're like a gimmick.
So,
I mean, these are kind of gimmicky, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Not that's a bad thing.
I think it's really artsy. I don't know. I think they're cool. You know, the cool thing is they back it up with their bourbon. I think their bourbon's good. What do you think, Ethan? It's first time trying it.
Delightful. It is very smooth. I like them both.
You like them both?
So you said the 101, I think, was in my right hand.
Yeah.
And I definitely like this one more.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit of proof is going to have. Wait till you get to this cast strength and it really pops then.
What's interesting to me is that this one is apparently higher proof. I feel like it's smoother. I don't know if you guys are getting that.
Yeah, I feel that same way. I don't know. I think it may probably age.
It's a newer thing too. They could have perfected it a little.
Do you know in the 101 what the age is? Because this is a blend of 4 to 14, and this is an older.
I think it's very similar. Hang on, let me look.
Also, too, this is a fresh crack.
Yeah.
Okay. So that has a little bit of difference, but I do get a much smoother mid to back end palate. Finishes a little bit nicer, a little cleaner. I'm getting a little more tannins or something in the first one.
I still think they're super sweet. Yeah. There's something very sweet about them.
Yeah, very grain corn forward.
Yeah, I get a lot of cinnamon and stuff.
Cinnamon, a little bit of brown sugar on the nose.
It says ages 5 years, a blend of 5 to 15-year-old bourbons from California, Indiana, and Kentucky.
Okay, so it's probably got it's a year minimum older, but I don't know.
I'm wondering where they're getting, who they're sourcing in Kentucky.
I would love to find that
Obviously, Indiana is Ross and Squibb, MGP.
Yeah, MGP all the way. Yep.
But hey, nothing wrong with that. And the MSRP on this Pipe Dream 101 is like $50 to $55. So
it's a good price. It's really good.
No, not at all. And I'm not getting. I remember when I used to drink this. I had it was one of the first bottles I really had a couple years ago. But I remember it being a lot more cinnamony. But it's still got a cinnamon flavor, but not. It doesn't punch me in the mouth like it used to. Maybe my palate changed.
Right in the kisser.
Pow. But it's good.
Do you have anything else on Redwood Empire?
No, I don't think so. We talked about the trees, largest grain to ground. No, I think that's pretty much it. Talked about the mash bills. I mean, they're a really good distillery. I think if you haven't had any of their offerings, I would highly recommend them. Especially you can start with the lower end stuff. I mean,
I know what happened to my Pipe Dream bottle. I gave it to my friend Justin. He was getting into bourbon, and I had about half a bottle. I was wondering what happened to my
because I knew you had one because I traded you one.
Yeah, I gave it to him as like a gift.
Yeah.
It sounds like if you're a bourbon junkie, bourbon nerd, if you're into this kind of stuff, like this is the spot in California, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if you're going to go do a tour or something.
Honestly, I can't think of any other at the moment. I can't think of any other distilleries in California. I know Woodinville's like in Wyoming.
There's that one that
Washington.
Remember the one that we met, the lady that gave us a ticket for Whiskey Riot? They're in California.
Oh, are they? The St. George?
St. George, yep. They're in California as well. They have a really nice facility. So thank you to St. George. They had that really unique Japanese whiskey.
Yeah, that was pretty good. They have one at, what was that, Liquor Depot?
Yeah.
It was one of those, like, we'll have to pick that up.
It was like the most unique thing I had at the Whiskey Riot event that we went to in Texas and Dallas. So, all right. Well, these are both really good. Obviously, the 101. I'm curious to see how the cast strength is, which we can pour that in a second. But we've got several different other bottles offering. So, and now that Screaming Titan is Bruzel's a huge fan of it. I remember it's kind of funky. We did it in a blind. It didn't do as well.
Yeah, when I fresh cracked it, it was actually really, really sweet. And you can just tell. And when I went back to it, I was a little disappointed because that fresh crack was just so good. And sometimes that happens whenever you get a little oxygen and it opens up. It maybe not necessarily opened up as well as some others, but it is really good. I actually really enjoy it. So
yeah, it's not bad. Pretty good.
So I want to start this Star Wars episode with a little story that I've told, I believe, on the podcast before. But the director of our program in college at Oklahoma City Community College, his name was Gray Fredrickson. Rest in peace. He died a couple years ago. He was a producer. He produced all kinds of movies, the Godfather movies, Apocalypse Now. What's the one filmed in Tulsa? The Outsiders. That's what it was. Well, he also, I don't know if he produced, but he did something for American Graffiti, which was directed by George Lucas. And so they were friends, and I guess they were hanging out, and George was like, "Hey, you guys got to come see this." And Gray's a big guy, and there's another big guy. They're like 6 foot plus guys, and they get into this little car, and they're driving hours, like 2.5 hours. And they're like, "Where the heck are we going?" They pull off of this little arcade in the middle of nowhere, and he takes them in, and he's like, "Why are we at an arcade? What's going on?" And he shows him this game, and he's like, "This is going to be my next movie." And the game was called Star Wars. And Gray was like, I don't understand. I don't get how that's going to work. And the rest is history, man. And that's the thing about Gray is I feel like he probably had a few misses because he also said Clint Eastwood wasn't going to be a big star, so he didn't want to be his producer. So there's a couple, and then I guess he had a chance to produce the Lord of the Rings movies in the 90s, and he didn't think fantasy would sell. But honestly, they probably did good by waiting, a little bit to get that CGI stuff. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they did some cool stuff with Star Wars back in the 80s, so maybe Lord of the Rings could have been really cool in the 90s.
We'll never know.
Well, Lord of the Rings kind of cheated because they used a bunch of practical stuff.
Yeah.
Well, practical, I feel like practical is honestly the best way to go.
Yeah. Even for Star Wars, like the old movies, they used all those miniatures for the ships and everything.
Yep, and the matte painting and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, all those big wide shots, it's like 5 feet of screen, but they're all little bitty ships.
It's crazy the stuff you could do because, the Wizard of Oz back in the day, there's a lot of movies where it's just paintings and stuff, and it's just, I feel like creativity's gone out the window a little bit as far as the art department. But
they do the same stuff just on a computer now, so artists really kind of got the shaft.
it just doesn't look as good, and it's kind of crazy because CGI actually looks worse now than it did because Pirates of the Caribbean, looked fantastic in like the early 2000s. Like, what happened? Why does it not look as good now? I don't know.
Oh, I have a cool story real quick. You brought up Pirates of the Caribbean. This is not Star Wars related, so I apologize. But I just got back from St. Lucia. I did a little boat tour over to Marigot Bay, and we got to see. Do you know the episode or the movie? I forgot which one it is. When Jack Sparrow jumps into the water, he's in that cave to go find the treasure.
That's the first one, I think.
Yeah, I think it's the first one. Yeah. So there's a little arch out there, and I got to go into that cave, and then there's a little arch outside called Lovers. I think it's called Lovers Arch, maybe something like that. But that was pretty cool. So I got to see where they actually filmed that. So I thought that was pretty cool. But I wanted to share
this
that.
This is a Star Wars episode.
Oh, is this the Star Wars?
Yeah, come on, man.
I don't think Johnny Depp's in Star Wars.
He should be. Might be a little bit better.
What character would Johnny Depp play? Would he be the guy the coder guy from?
No, I think he would be really good to play the assassin guy, like what's his name?
Boba Fett?
No, not Boba Fett. The green one.
Green
the
assassin.
green assassin guy.
The guy that's like, I don't know. I'll look it up. Greedo. No, not Greedo.
Give me a time period. Like the old movies?
No, he's in the newer stuff. He was an assassin in The Mandalorian.
Cad Bane or something?
Cad Bane, yeah.
With the
Cad
big
Bane.
hat?
Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
He
Cad
could do
Bane.
that. Yeah, I think he could.
See?
I mean, he was Rango. He got that
I think
Rango
that guy's. I think Cad Bane is blue.
Blue, he is.
Yeah,
he is blue.
blue.
I apologize. I don't know my Cad Bane colors.
He was like the best and worst part of the Book of Boba Fett. But we'll We'll get to that in a little bit.
All right.
Basically, Mandalorian season 2.5.
All right, boys. Well, where are we going to begin? We're going to start with the good.
Let's start with the good.
One.
Should we just all go around and be like, "This is what I like
What are we
about Star
thankful
Wars"?
for?
Dear baby Jesus, I'm thankful. I don't know. I mean, I'm thankful for The Empire Strikes Back. I'm thankful for Rogue One. I think
Real quick, I want to ask. So, Ethan, I'm sure you've seen those comparisons about Star Wars and Harry Potter being pretty similar. After watching Harry Potter, do you see some similarities in that in Star Wars?
Not particularly. I guess I don't.
It's a kid that's supposed to be the chosen one.
Well, that's just kind of like the hero's journey.
He's protected by a magical wizard or whatever, and then you have this evil guy coming after you who is somehow attached to you. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things there.
I think both of them just kind of ripped off like the hero's journey, which came from the Odyssey or something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They have like a chosen one,
Yep.
who's they're just like the person that's meant to do everything, but they all have an old figure teaching them how to do it. I guess so. Yeah.
Have you heard the story of Gilgamesh?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Well, we're not going to
Like from the Eternals.
Oh gosh.
No. I'm going back to Greek mythology.
Though that's actually Christopher Nolan's next movie is the Odyssey, and the cast looks stacked, dude. It's gonna be great.
It surprised me that there's never been a really good Odyssey movie, because that's kind of the OG
the
like
one
story.
we watched in
right?
school isn't that bad.
Was it old? How old was it?
Yeah, it was pretty old.
Like the
I
80s or something?
Tell you. Yeah, I don't know. It's been 20 years since I watched it in school. So I just remember enjoying it. Like, oh man, I really like this story. It's pretty well. And actually, fun fact, I know we're getting off topic, but Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is actually based off the Odyssey.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
You should go and check it. There's a really cool thing. Like they based the whole story out, like the singing sirens and turning into a frog and all that.
Just kind of took that story, but putting it in a different setting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting.
I love Oh Brother. That's one of my favorite Coen
Yeah,
Brothers movies.
that's a great movie. I agree.
I don't want fop. I'm a Dapper Dan man.
All right. I mean, lightsabers, Jedi powers.
If you were to be inserted into the world of Star Wars right now, what would you want to do? Like, would you want to be a Jedi? Would you want to be a bounty hunter?
Dude, I'm a Sith all the way, bro. Give me the Sith powers. I want to do some cool stuff.
I had a buddy back in high school who he answered a question that was on the internet back in the day, and it was, if you woke up tomorrow with the Force, like able to use the Force, what would be the first thing that you would do? And my buddy answered, I would turn to the dark side.
100%,
And everyone got all mad at him in the comics.
Do you guys want to side by side the Emerald Giant with the Devil's Tower?
Sure. Let me clean this out real quick.
While you pour these, can I tell a little story about Theron?
Yeah.
So I met him when you guys had him up here. He was just hanging out a few weeks ago, a month ago. I don't know how long ago that was. But I ran up here to like help you guys, set up some mics or something. But I walk in the door and he goes, "You're Ethan, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, how do you know that?" And he goes, "You're wearing a Jaguar shirt." And I listened to the podcast and I've heard you nerd out about the Jaguars. I was like, "Wow. Oh yeah, that is me. Good call there."
No, Theron's a good guy. We really appreciate Theron. He's hooked us up with mini samples, which I actually gave him a few samples this last go around. I gave him a sample of my Willet Purple Top, my Jack 12, and there's something else. I can't remember what else I gave him, but I gave him a few things. Be like, man, I feel like this has been a one-sided relationship, so we gotta give you something.
Got to hook you up.
Yeah. So
for me, for Star Wars, what I like most about it is just, I think the world itself, not necessarily the stories or the movies or anything. I just always got super interested in the setting, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. I would always just daydream about what would happen if I woke up with a lightsaber tomorrow.
I just wish some of the newer stuff would go further into the lore, which we'll get to that here in a little bit. I just feel like they're too hung up on the Skywalker brand.
They're just too hung up on that like 30-year time period that they can't get away from.
Yeah.
But they've established that the whole thing is supposed to have existed for like 20,000 years and they're just stuck.
I mean, Star Wars is a big thing back in the day, man. Like that just blew people's minds that were in theaters. You just hear people talk about it and they're like, where were you for Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
what is the is Alec Guinness?
Yeah, he's who played Obi-Wan.
Yeah. I mean, a fantastic actor. He's in so many amazing movies. He's Academy Award winning actor, and he was actually nominated for Obi-Wan, which I thought was amazing because he's in the movie, but he kind of gets killed off a little early on. So
he's in all of them.
Yeah, I mean,
he's there as a Force Ghost. Yeah,
Ben.
Real quick, so what do you guys think about the re-releases where they're like replacing people's ghosts with like Hayden Christensen and stuff? I feel
I'm
like
fine
that's
with
kind
it.
of weird.
I'm fine with it, to be honest.
Or like the weird CGI Boba Fett, Jabba the Hutt. That
one's a little bit weird. The Hayden Christensen one, I totally get, because the story is they're showing you the last time he was Anakin and not Vader. And as that, he would have been Hayden Christensen, right?
I just feel like some of the add-ins are weird. It's like they added that scene, and then they, instead of doing the puppet Jabba the Hutt, they decided to do a CGI, and it's just really, I'm just like, whoa.
They did the same for Yoda, I think, in The Empire Strikes Back, because he was a puppet back in the day.
Yeah.
But I think they replaced him with CGI and
He didn't
a
look
re-release.
that bad in the prequels as CGI.
No. But then, I mean, they also did the re-releases where at the very beginning of the first one, the whole Han shot first thing.
Oh yeah.
Where that was part of Han's characters. Everyone liked how he shot that bounty hunter first, but they go back and they re-release it and they made the bounty hunter shoot at him first. And then he was just retaliating and everyone was like, no,
Yeah.
what's cooler?
I have to say, one of my favorite all-time characters is Darth Vader. I think a lot of people will say that. He's just one of the greatest villains ever.
Agreed.
In anything.
I don't think that's
And
even
actually,
debatable.
I think that's the reason I love Doctor Doom so much, because Doctor Doom has a lot of similarities to Vader, and they actually based Doctor Doom off of Darth Vader whenever they created that character. So I think that's pretty cool.
I mean, he may be the most iconic villain in movie history.
Oh, for sure. I mean, everybody's doing the "I am your father."
Yep.
It's like it's a running gag in like a bunch of movies that you see.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like I hear it in daily life where people will just randomly say, "Do choke on your aspirations," that kind of stuff.
I mean, James Earl Jones just kills it, man. It's going to be really sad when he's
the breathing.
not here anymore.
Yeah, the breathing is so iconic. I mean, just because I rewatched Rogue One and Empire Strikes Back, but the end part of Rogue One when he just goes in and murders all those rebels, and they're trying to pass
one of the best Vader scenes ever.
Yeah.
And that I was like, dude, this is a way to end a movie, right?
Dude, I know.
This is how you end it. And then,
For sure.
Actually, I was talking to Theron, and he goes, every time I watch Rogue One, I immediately have to go to New Hope, because it's just like
It just leads right into it, yeah.
into it. Yeah.
I remember walking out of the theater when I saw Rogue One and it ended and everyone was just like, no, keep going.
Yeah. That's such a good movie, though.
It is a great movie. I mean, you can't. Unfortunately, you can't do a sequel to Rogue One. I mean, the sequel is A New Hope, so it's. Like,
the sequel to Rogue One is Andor, right? They're kind of
that's
doing
the
that.
prequel because they died on the planet. So it's his adventures before Rogue One.
Rogue One's so good. I'm thankful that we got Rogue One when we did, because if it would have been 5 years later, it would have been a Disney Plus TV show.
Yeah.
And it would not have been a movie.
Dude,
The Andor series, I think, is really good. Have you seen
I haven't
that?
watched it.
Yeah,
No.
you should watch it. Season 2 comes out this week, actually, tomorrow.
I plan on watching Andor.
It's
Honestly,
really good.
so many of the shows have just disappointed me. It's really hard for me to pick up any of the other ones. Like Book of Boba Fett was not good. Obi-Wan was not good.
I've heard that
other than the Vader and him fight scenes, it's just.
I've heard that Andor is kind of similar to the Penguin show, where you could take that character and put it in something else that's not, Batman or Star Wars, and it would still just be a really good sci-fi show.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I felt kind of like when I watch it. There's no force and all these crazy powers. It's just like he's a spy, and
Yeah, I've heard it's just a really well-written plot in a sci-fi setting.
it's really good. I do recommend that one. I know a lot of people have been turned off on some of the shows, like The Acolyte, which was god awful. Ashoka was okay. I do like The Mandalorian outside of the episode with Jack Black and is it Lizzie?
I had checked out by that point. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's literally one of the
And it's
worst.
got Christopher Lloyd is a bad guy that doesn't make any sense. It's
Yeah,
like,
I know.
what are we
It's
doing,
Christopher
guys?
Lloyd from Back to the Future. Let's go.
It's just like, how many random people can we throw in this episode?
Yeah.
I will say on Rogue One, they have one of my favorite robots in all of
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars.
That big tall guy. Yeah.
Voiced by Alan Tudyk. I love Alan Tudyk. He's so great.
Was it K20? Is that what?
K2SO?
K2SO, yeah. His scene.
Like, you have been rescued.
Yeah. He's like, he tells, is her name Ren? Or
Jin.
Sorry, Jin.
Jin Urso.
Yeah, Jin Urso. That's right. Sorry. I just watched the movie and I can't remember anything.
I haven't watched it in a long time. So you're slacking.
The robot's like, I'm here for you because Cass and Andrew told me to be. It's funny. And then he talked when she.
Oh, I should have stayed at the ship. Look at me. And he's like throwing bombs and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. He's a good comic relief.
Also,
in
it's
that.
interesting seeing Mads Mikkelsen not play a villain. And he's the father.
He's typically a villain these days. Yeah.
But he was a villain to the Empire because he was like, hey, there's this little spot in this event that you can shoot. Just check it out, bro. You shoot that, they're dead.
What do you guys think of the Grand Admiral, like the CGI guy in that movie? Does it take you out of it at all? Does it bother you watching it? Because you just rewatched it.
I did. It didn't really bother me. The movie's so good. I kind of just overlooked it, but I was
kind of like video game Leia at the very end.
He looks like a little fish that just came out of a video game.
And I don't remember, did Carrie Fisher didn't die?
She was not dead at the time.
Yeah. So I think that was her and just de-aged, right? I know in the second or third sequel movie, they got her daughter and they just CGI'd over her.
I believe she passed away like halfway through filming her scenes for the very last one.
Yeah.
Because so I rewatched that one last night, and there's a couple scenes where she's talking in it, and it's very clearly Carrie Fisher.
Well, I think they used some scenes from the second movie and added them to the third movie.
Okay.
And that's why it's kind of awkward like that sometimes.
Yeah, so my wife, she was sitting there with me watching it, and the scene where Leia dies in the movie, she looks at me and she's like, that was not Carrie Fisher in that scene.
Well, yeah, and so Billy Lord's her daughter, and actually kind of looks like her, and they just use
she's
her.
in all
she's
of
in
them.
she's in the movie too, and they just use her and just put Carrie's face over it. And RP Carrie Fisher, I really hate that was like the last thing that you were known for, but
yeah, she's so good. I mean,
dude, I love her cameo.
She's beautiful back then too.
Back.
I mean, I watched Empire Strikes Back today, and I'm like, man, she was gorgeous.
Yeah, dude.
I gotta ask you a question. How many times have you actually tried to grab something with the Force just to see if you could?
When I was a kid, it was very often. It was like once a week. I would make sure.
You're like at the doors at Target, like, look, I closed them.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like you think we're talking about the good and like just growing up, and it was like, yeah, just if I can pick something up with the Force. I've tried.
It's never going to hurt you to just try.
You just try.
That scene in Mallrats where Silent Bob's like hanging upside down. And he's trying to get this videotape, and he's just like trying to get the Force. Have you guys ever watched Mallrats? Oh, you guys got to watch Mallrats. As one of the best Stan Lee cameos, and I just love that movie.
Can we talk about these fries real quick?
Dude, the Devil's Tower is really good.
Do you get that fruity note? Just comes out of nowhere.
I got like a grape.
Yeah, like a grape pear.
Is that what you poured for me here?
Yes.
So
Did you already drink? No, I have an Emerald Giant, and then no, that's Emerald Giant. This is definitely a rye. It comes right out you at a rye. I get just straight rye.
It comes rye
spice with a little hint of malted barley, man.
I like this Devil's Tower a lot. I need to
it's good,
look more into their special rye. They have another rye. I can't remember what that one's called.
The Emerald Giant's smooth, man.
Yeah, the Emerald Giant's
smooth as butter. But it's a lot of rye spice. I can get a little malted barley on the back end, but
it's good. I mean, you can kind of tell. I feel like the Emerald Giant's probably the 95.5 MGP. Kind of has that flavor to it.
Yeah, 92.5.
I think their special
it's got
offerings
wheat
are more
in
of their kind of stuff. So
yeah, but this Devil's Tower is super unique. I really like it. It goes from like a little bit of rye to like this zinger of a fruit bomb.
Yeah, I really like that Devil's Tower. I might have to get a bottle of that. They still have it on the shelf, so it's out there. I'm trying to think what the other offering is. I need to look that up.
Is that clove? I get definitely clove on the end, on the tip of my
garlic?
tongue. No, clove, not garlic.
I just showed Danielle The Lost Boys the other day, and it's such a classic. Dude.
Oh yeah,
is there a better soundtrack for a movie out there?
Star Wars,
Home Alone.
Home Alone.
That's a Christmas. Christmas soundtrack ever.
Home Alone is just like Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert is all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It just uses all those classics.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
Yeah, if you like Christmas music, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of movies that have amazing soundtracks.
Let's see.
A lot of the Christopher Nolan movies have really good soundtracks.
Yeah, but Star Wars.
Star Wars
We're
is up
talking
there.
about
Van Dusen is their other one. The Van Dusen rye.
We're talking about the great things about Star Wars. The music. The music's iconic.
So iconic.
Dude, John Williams is like the GOAT. He's like the GOAT.
Agreed.
He kind of is.
He's
Yeah.
done so many other great things. And I mean, I need to look up how many Academy Awards.
Yeah, I was
like
gonna ask,
shit.
how many Academy
Oh, he's probably got
Awards does he
15 or
have?
20. Yeah.
Guy has to buy a house for his Academy Awards.
Let's see. He's won. Oh my God.
1 million.
Oh no, he's a nominee. Okay, let's see what he's. Look at these are all just nominations.
So Garrett is just scrolling on his phone right now.
This is insane. So he won for Schindler's List. He won for E.T. He won for Star Wars: A New Hope. He won for Jaws. Won for Fiddler on the Roof, and then he was nominated for like a million other ones. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's a GOAT.
So he's got 5. I mean, and those are all kind of different. I mean, obviously you got the Spielberg connection where he does all the Spielberg stuff. So I guess that's E.T. Jaws. I don't know who directed Fiddler on the Roof. Spielberg directed Schindler's List.
Yep. Schindler's List is a great
I'm
movie.
not sure about that, but
Did John Williams did he do Jurassic Park?
I believe so. Yes. I need to double check that one.
That's got
Oh,
great
did
music
Harry
too.
Potter.
Oh yeah, he did the first few Harry Potter movies. You can tell. I feel like you can tell in the Harry Potter movies where John Williams quit doing the music because there's a sharp decline.
Oh, for sure.
I get a pair.
He did Home Alone.
Pair note.
Home Alone. There you go.
There you go. He
Told
was
you.
nominated.
Go.
He did all the Indiana Jones movies. Sorry, which one did you ask me about?
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Let me look.
He might not have.
I think so, but I feel
It
like
sounds
that
very John
actually-
Williams-y.
No, Jurassic World. We don't care about
Are you
Jurassic
just
World.
looking at Steven Spielberg movies and saying you love them?
Do you love them though?
Hey, have you guys heard of this guy, Steven Spielberg? He's pretty good.
Spielberg.
He's a pretty good guy. Yeah, John Williams did Jurassic Park.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, just basically all the like best movies ever were
Yeah.
music by John Williams.
Freaking Jaws.
Yeah.
That is so iconic.
Dude, the Jaws.
Dude, the
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
and then Jaws eats your face.
Anything? What else do you guys really like about Star Wars? I like The Mandalorian.
I like how hateful this fan base can be.
So
is the
one
way.
of my favorite things was back in the day, George Lucas did not care about people using the Star Wars name to make their own stories. And there was just so many cool books and video games and stuff that just kind of did their own thing.
Yeah.
But they were all Star Wars. Like, so my favorite Star Wars story ever is not a movie. It's a video game. It's Knights of the Old Republic.
I mean, that's a lot.
it's
That's
just
a favorite
classic.
video.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's so good.
I genuinely think it's a better story than any of the movies.
Aren't they gonna?
They need to make that movie.
I thought they were
Revan's
gonna
one
do
of the best
that.
characters.
I don't trust them to. I don't want them to touch
Well,
it.
Yeah,
let's wait
that's
till
true.
Kathleen Kennedy leaves, and let's get rid of the woman who wants to make men feel uncomfortable, and maybe we'll get there. Definitely not by Simon Kim. I swear to God, if Simon Kimberg's trilogy is Knights of the Old Republic, I will freaking riot.
Yeah.
I hate Simon Kimberg.
You know, just when we got the good news that Kathleen Kennedy was out, and then they announced that, it's just like punch
What are we
us in the
doing,
nuts, dude.
What are we doing?
Yeah, just take away my childhood. Might as well take away my basketball team. Take away my childhood. What else do you guys want to take from me?
This is kind of how I feel. Like, it's hard for me to go back and watch the old movies knowing like, wow, Luke was the chosen one, and then thinking, oh no, he just dies after not really doing anything.
He dies from being tired.
he tries to kill his nephew in his sleep and then dies from being tired.
Yeah,
It just kind of killed the whole thing for me.
I'm coming.
he did. I mean, he
Oh,
did.
that's off brand right there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then yeah,
So,
It's-
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, a lot of the stuff they did in the new movies just kind of retroactively made the other things worse. And that's kind of why I feel the way I do about
Well, and
all
they're
of
just
this.
like panicking the whole time. It's like you go into the first movie is like, yeah, it was fine, but we need to amp it up. The second one, they go out and which I find it weird that they had 3 different writers and directors for like, I know J.J. Abrams was like passing on his notes to Rian Johnson, but Rian Johnson's still writing and directing. And then Colin Trevorrow was supposed to do the third one, and Rian Johnson was supposed to pass on his notes to him. And I'm like, dude, that's so dumb.
Yeah.
You need one guy to look at the whole trilogy. I think that's where they messed up. And I love Rian Johnson as a director. Like, Looper is fantastic. That's a great sci-fi movie.
No, Looper's really
I mean,
good.
it's not like expanded universe like Star Wars, but it's a great.
He's kind of getting there with those Daniel Craig movies.
Dude, the Knives
what
Out
are
ones
those?
are so
Knives
good.
Out. That's it.
And that's why I'm sure Daniel Craig was in that as well.
Could be, yeah.
But they have a new one coming out later this year. That looks like it's
that's going to be like the third or fourth one,
the third
right?
one.
Yeah, they're all. I've watched all of
the
them.
Glass
They're
Onion is actually really good.
Yeah,
yeah, those are good movies.
Daniel Craig's just like, I just can't believe how stupid you are. Like, this is just stupid.
Are we ready to move to the bad?
One thing one other thing I really love about Star Wars is the theories, right? The theories people come up with. So
yes.
How do you feel about the Jar Jar Binks is actually a Sith theory? And do you think it would have turned into that if they had not had so much hate?
So I remember reading, it was like a long Reddit post, I think, is where that came from. And I remember reading it back in the day, and they announced these new movies. And at the time, I was like, man, I really would not be surprised if Jar Jar Binks is the bad guy.
He was doing some interesting things in the first one. You're like, oh,
I know. I was waiting for it. Like, is this some
honestly, I
son of a
think,
bitch bad?
I think that guy got way too much unnecessary hate.
Big time.
Yeah,
Him and the little kid that played Kid Anakin.
Oh, yeah.
Him too.
Man.
Jake Lloyd, I think was his name.
Jake Lloyd, yeah.
He like ended up in prison, I believe.
I don't know. I think Jar Jar being a Sith would have actually made the second one maybe watchable.
This is another thing that I kind of in the same line. When they announced that they were doing an Obi-Wan Kenobi show, I really wanted the bad guy to be Mace Windu. Because he has like kind of an off-screen death, and it's kind of implied, I don't know, that he's not really dead.
Making him a bad guy would be interesting, though.
Surprise, mother trucker.
Hey, watch it there.
Yeah, I said trucker.
I'm tired of these mother effing Jedis on this mother planet.
Have you seen my movies? That's the way I talk.
That was like a kind of fan story for a long time, was that Mace Windu survived his encounter with Palpatine and then end up turning to the dark side because he wanted to get back at Palpatine so bad.
No, you really just got an overly angry female version of Kylo Ren. Is really, no, she's not even really Kylo Ren. I don't know. She's something. Reva was kind of a underwritten character for sure. Dude, the scene in Obi-Wan where they have like this gate that they got to get past, and they like do a wide shot. You're like, look, you can just walk around that gate.
Why was she so angry?
Well, she was a bad guy.
I know.
They get their power from anger.
Well, and she's pissed because wasn't she like one of the younglings, and she really just wanted to get back at Darth Vader?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then like the baby Leia thing, it's like I thought they'd never met each other. Why are they meeting now?
When you go back and watch A New Hope too, I feel like it's pretty clear that Darth Vader and Obi-Wan have not seen each other in a very extended long period of time.
Like multiple times.
Apparently they did. Yes.
So I think they both just had dementia or just like lost their memory. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think too many years on Tatooine really got to them.
Man, they had such a gold mine with that Obi-Wan that could have just been one of the greatest things we've ever watched.
I mean, we love Ewan McGregor. We love Hayden Christensen.
Absolutely.
Like
why?
Just, I mean, the him versus Anakin thing was cool, but everything else about the show is just so forgettable. Like I honestly don't even remember. I remember it had something to do with Leia being kidnapped, and then Reva being pissed off because she was a youngling. I don't like. That's about all I can.
To be honest, you said the name of that character. I had forgotten that she was a thing. I had forgotten that she was in the show at all.
No, she was such a standout, but in the worst way. It's like she's very, very noticeable and very. I can't think of the word right now.
Forgettable.
Not forgettable. She's just. I can't think of the word right now, but she was a very underwritten and very developed character.
I'm so angry at everything. But I mean, anything. I mean, there's a lot of other good stuff. I mean, just growing up watching the movies, I couldn't imagine it had the Star Wars movies, the first one, the 4, 5, and 6 were just so ahead of their time when they came out. I mean, I couldn't imagine being back in what 80s. What was it? 80s?
They were late 70s. The last one was in like 82. I think.
Theaters, like
I couldn't imagine.
I guess that's kind of like us watching like Endgame or something now, where it's like that was an experience. That you had to have been there in theaters.
Yep.
So it doesn't happen very often. Like
I saw a thing the other day. It was like the end of The Empire Strikes Back. Right? There's the big twist of Vader as his dad. 100%. If that came out in 2025, that would have been in the trailer.
Yeah, true.
There it is.
I am your father.
Okay, so I think we're past the good part.
I think we're well past the good part.
So let's talk about like the average stuff, right? We won't get to the too bad stuff yet.
For me, the average stuff is the prequels, big time. Like
Especially episode 2.
Yeah, like it's really not the best, but there was so much heart. You can see.
Honestly, the first one would have been super forgettable if it wasn't for the
Darth
Maul fight.
Oh yeah, I mean Darth Maul is like one of the most iconic villains.
Yes,
I mean
you could tell. So the idea is that back in the day, George Lucas hired writers to write the script and kind of come up with not the plot, but like the big story points in the old movies. And then in the prequels, he did it all himself. Everything was him, and he was very clearly not an experienced dialogue writer. And you can see that.
I hate sand.
Attack of the Clones has some.
They
Yeah,
always get out there and they're like, "Do you think Anakin would have turned if he liked sand?" Like it's almost
just loved the beach.
Honestly, his dialogue is just kind of creepy.
yeah.
It's like how does Natalie Portman fall in love with this kid?
And that's another thing too. Is where did George Lucas get the idea that Natalie Portman's character Amidala, she meets a child and then 10 years later and is like, you know what? He's cute.
yeah.
That's just real creepy, you know?
There is a significant age gap in the first movie.
Big time. Yeah.
Well, it is Hollywood,
it
guys.
came up it's just really quick.
Look at that. She's still the same age, but
It's like Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
All right. You know what I like about high school girls? I keep on getting older and they stay the same.
Same
that's
age.
Natalie Portman saying that.
Yeah.
For sure. Hey, if the roles were reversed, that would have been a lot creepier.
It would have.
I guarantee there would have been a lot more
100%.
outrage.
Yes.
100%.
Honestly, I can't even tell you the plot of episode 2.
Episode 2.
It's kind of forgettable.
It's almost like a mystery. It's got Obi-Wan trying to figure out what's going on. And they're talking about this like Sifo Dyas guy who no one really knows who it is. It's Count Dooku. But he was going by a different name. And it's got like Obi-Wan going on a little mystery hunt to try to figure out what's going on. And it ends up being, the clones.
Yeah.
But like meanwhile, Anakin's hanging out with Amidala babysitting her.
Who's the random Grievous?
Yeah, General Grievous.
One of the he actually could have been really cool. And I've heard lore and stuff that he's actually a really, really cool character. And they just kind of make him like almost laughable in the movie.
Yeah, he's really
He's just like flipping lightsabers and he just gets taken out like it's nothing. I'm like, oh, I thought this was supposed to be some big bad general guy, and they just kind of, I don't know. I think that's the problem is they underwrite these guys.
Yeah, have
sometimes.
you watched the animated series, The Clone Wars?
I here and there. I haven't watched all of it.
It's really good. I enjoyed. I haven't watched all of it, but I've watched the majority of it.
I heard the one after that is a lot better.
Rebels.
Yeah.
Rebels.
That's with the Darth Maul Obi-Wan stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but General Grievous is pretty legit.
I'll get to the Darth Maul thing here in a minute. Grievous was Grievous in Clone Wars? Was he a lot better?
Yeah, he's a lot better than his character.
Oh yeah, he has like a little apprentice that never shows up in the movies.
Yeah,
that's in the Clone Wars, like the cartoons.
Maul had an apprentice that never showed up either. Well, actually, so that's funny. So George Lucas, when he handed it off to Disney, he was like, "Here's what I would do for the sequel trilogy," and they're like, "No, we're not going to do that." I actually pulled up the exact thing he was going to do. So let me just read this thing right here. So his original plan for the sequel trilogy involved Luke Skywalker rebuilding the Jedi Order, while Leia focused on rebuilding the New Republic. The trilogy would explore themes of morality and philosophical problems. Key elements included Luke in exile on a remote planet, a villain in the form of Darth Talon, and possibly Darth Maul, which I did hear Darth Maul was going to be like almost like a gang leader, like a gangster, kind of like he was in Clone Wars and stuff. Mm-hmm. And a focus on the microbiotic world of the Force. And so I think that actually would have been really cool. And I think they tried to do that a little bit in the Solo movie because, Maul shows up in the Solo movie. And I think it would have been cool if they would have been able to explore that. And I think we honestly would have got a better trilogy, but
that's the crazy thing to me is when they sat down, Disney got the rights to this and they're like, okay, we're going to make some new movies. What do we want like the grand scope of these things to be? And they settled on, let's just remake A New Hope.
Exactly. Yeah. Except Luke's going to be female. And she's not going to go through any struggles. She's going to go through struggles, but it's not struggles you're going to see on camera. It's just like, oh, her parents left her on this planet.
Yeah, cool. we're going to have her fight. We're going to have her fight this bad guy in every single movie, and she's going to win every time.
Yeah. Oh, or pick up a lightsaber? Yeah, I know how to do this. Oh, you've been training for years and yeah. Okay.
That's kind of the most bewildering thing to me is like if you gave 15-year-old Ethan the world of Star Wars, make a story in that, there's blank canvas, do whatever you want. The last thing that I would do is be like, okay, there's a small group of rebels and there's a big bad guy empire. I don't get it.
The Jedi Order. Oh, okay.
I did forget to mention good things. The best thing from Ashoka, which is kind of a sad thing, was Baylan Skoll's character, Ray Stevenson, who is passed
he passed away, right?
Yeah,
the
which
guy
is
who
pretty
played-
sad.
The guy who played the
Hound.
The Hound is going to replace him.
Oh, is he? Okay. I could
That's
be
an
down for
official announcement from Celebration, which I'll get to Celebration here in a little bit.
that. All right.
We can look at the future of Star Wars
Oh, goodness.
all together, baby. All right. Do we have any more average things we want to talk about? About the prequels. Actually, the third one I think is really good. I actually really enjoyed.
I do
third
too.
one. I think that's kind of when Hayden Christensen kind of started finally figuring out the Darth Vader character. I think he did a lot better. I think George Lucas was kind of finding his groove too, as far as a writer, maybe. Him and Obi-Wan's whole thing, like that was an amazing scene.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it's
was.
great. It is.
That whole fight scene.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, it's a legit.
I remember because I was probably like 12 years old when that came out, and I remember just watching that fight scene on repeat. Like I would watch it and then rewind my tape
higher
and watch it again.
I've actually met Ray Park, and a lot of times he'll get that double saber and it's like he just
whip
keeps
it out.
doing it. Yeah,
Yeah, he's like a stunt guy, isn't he?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, he's not necessarily an actor.
yeah, and he's not the voice of Darth Maul. It's the guy from the animated series does the voice for him. I can't think of that guy's name right now. I actually got him to sign a Darth Maul thing once, and I actually got the guy who voices Vader or voices Anakin in the series.
Oh, Ray Park. I think the only other like big movie he was in was the X-Men. He was in the X-Men movies, the first one.
Yeah, he was
the Toad guy.
Oh, yeah, that's
Toad.
right.
Yeah.
He showed up in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah,
As
he was
Toad
in-
Did he?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in there. Remember he?
He's like, Toad, you're up.
Yeah, and he turns on that machine. Yeah, and then he dies.
So I'm on the Screaming Titan. Have you been drinking the Screaming Titan?
Yeah,
a little
Screaming Titan's pretty good right now.
I've lost track. I don't know what I've got in front of me.
You have the
Yeah, I don't-
Devil's Tower and the
bit? Oh,
Emerald
yeah,
Giant.
you still have the Rise. You're
You're a
behind.
little behind there,
This
buddy.
is the rye. Yes.
Oh, man, this single malt definitely smells like a scotch. It's pretty good, though.
Yeah,
I like it. It's sweet.
pretty good.
Kind of, almost like a Whopper, like a chocolate Whopper.
That malt,
or
man.
Like the candy?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
No, that's single. You get that. You get that a lot in the single malts. Yeah,
Yeah. I
for
got
sure.
a little bit here for Ethan whenever he's ready.
I will say I'm really digging the Screaming Titan right now.
Yeah, Screaming Titan's good. I really like the
we're
bottle.
drinking.
Like I said, I wish you would have tasted the fresh crack because
Yeah.
wow, it really popped a punch. But
Yeah, I remember you were saying
got
"This
toned
is
down a
so
little bit
sweet,"
after
and then
that. But
you gave me a sample. I'm like, I don't get the sweetness. But
That's one. That's
it's
one
still
thing. Me
sweet.
being
It's
like
weeded.
me being a new bourboner is I can't keep up with you guys. You guys burn through this stuff.
we'll
Well,
try everything.
hey, drink,
Just
drink
not
responsibly, guys. No.
100%. I mean, we've made it through. We just have the cast strength pipe dream and the haystack needle to try. So
Yep, for sure. But yeah, no, I mean, I haven't had anything I disliked.
not,
far.
as far as Redwood.
Yeah, any of
I
the
thought you were
stuff.
talking about Star Wars. I'm like, are you sure?
Oh, no, yeah,
Are you
there's
sure?
one. Well-
you sure about that? you sure about that?
Well, we didn't even talk about
love that guy.
we didn't even talk about the droids. I mean, you talked about the one from, but R2D2 is like one of my favorite characters.
Oh,
man,
yeah.
I
dude,
also
he
love-
saves their bleep it out
So many times.
so many
I
times,
also love how he
dude.
just randomly wakes up at the exact right time.
Yeah, stand by, save everyone.
I was like, oh, Ray's here. Now I can show
Yeah.
in BB-8. Now I can show them the map.
I mean, you can't not talk about Star Wars and not talk about R2D2.
No, R2D2 and C3PO are very iconic for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
And
but R2D2
obviously-
actually saves them. C3PO just bitches about
Obviously,
everything.
my boy Chewbacca, he's actually very consistent through the whole. Like, if you say you like anything about the sequel trilogies, at least Chewbacca's still, Chewbacca.
Yeah, he's still there.
He's still, yeah.
Chewbacca's amazing too. Yeah, I mean,
I love Chewbacca. Like, have you read this? Have you read this play, Matt?
I have not.
Yeah.
No, I have not. It says, I can't do the
Why is
sound.
this Chewbacca?
It's like a quote, but it's just a bunch of
Chewbacca
H's
is
and
like
N's.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude, that's an awesome playmat.
I saw this. I was like, dude, I have to make that a playmat. This is so good. I was looking at. It was funny. I was actually looking up Bigfoot like backgrounds because I wanted to make a Bigfoot playmat, and then I saw that. I was like, dude, I'm making that playmat.
Yeah, you being such a huge Bigfoot fan, I was waiting for you to talk about Chewbacca, and like I figured he'd be your favorite character. I mean, which he's an awesome character. He's super strong. He
I guess
saves
he's
him.
Bigfoot of the space.
Yeah, Bigfoot of space.
Yeah, he's kind of space Bigfoot. Yeah.
But there's a lot.
I don't
more
know why I don't collect Chewbacca pops.
You should. Yeah.
Maybe I should start collecting those.
I
was trying to so the thing is, when you're collecting something like Funko Pops, you can't go crazy. Like if I tried to collect every single Star Wars pop, I would go broke. Especially when you try to get like the holographic Darth Maul.
I imagine there's probably thousands of them.
There's
right?
a bunch. And the holographic Darth Maul is like $10,000. Like I'm never getting that. I actually have a holographic Vader here. You guys guess how much this guy's worth?
probably.
I can see that you have it. The box is in a
I
case.
actually have a bunch of these.
So I'm imagining because you spent money on a case for the box, it's probably expensive.
So just give you an example. I traded it straight up for an Underground Sea.
Holy cow!
So like $700-800,
Yeah.
something like that.
And plus the Hayden Christensen auto.
Wow.
And it's certified by JSA. Yeah, this is a good luck charm. I just brought this. This is actually my favorite pop I own. I think it's the most expensive one I own too. So I just thought this would be good to have.
No, it's pretty cool. Pretty legit.
This Jar Jar Binks is actually worth a lot of money. This is the original Jar Jar Binks.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So it just shows you. I mean, Jar Jar got a lot more love later on.
He did. I feel like the people now appreciate Jar Jar a lot more.
And they
than,
brought him back as a Jedi in one of the shows. I
remember
Obi-Wan, maybe
they brought the actor back, right?
Yeah.
Not Jar Jar.
Ahmad
but
Best, I think was his name. Ahmad Best, I think is his
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. Anyway,
Good for him though.
We saw Jar Jar Binks.
That was kind of a big thing too with Hayden Christensen. It was like I feel like a lot of people did not like Hayden Christensen for a while, but now the Star Wars community really welcomes him.
Yeah,
mean,
he
really-
was hated on, and back
Yeah.
when those
Big
first
time.
came
He
out.
wasn't a very good actor though. I mean, even some of his other stuff, like he wasn't great. Obviously, he's kind of got it figured out now. And
I
think by
really
the
don't
third
attribute the prequel stuff to him. I think, man, if you gave anyone
mean,
the
it
I
is-
don't like sand line,
it is on the director to make sure
Yeah.
that he's directing the actors.
Yeah,
So
he was really good in Ashoka, like his part.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree.
I thought he was really good. in
you
that.
can also see in those movies.
dude, that scene in Ahsoka where he goes into the dust and then comes back out Vader.
Oh,
or it
yeah.
flashes and he's Vader. Like
Dude,
I
that was-
love that whole dream sequence.
Yeah, that was the
going on.
best whole of that entire show. That was the best part.
That whole sequence was amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can really see in those old movies the quality of actors that Ewan McGregor and Natalie Portman were, because they were working with the same dialogue, but they made it sound a lot better.
Well, and Natalie Portman won an Oscar for Black Swan, so we know that she's a good actress. I don't think Ewan's ever won one. I don't even know if he's been nominated, but he's a great actor.
what
Yeah,
would have
he's-
happened if George Lucas never sold out to Disney?
I mean, we wouldn't have any new movies to go off of right
He
now.
wouldn't be a billionaire just chilling at his house, man.
He would be a billionaire chilling at his house.
That's true, but he would have to work for it.
Couple movies.
What did he sell it to Disney for? Like 2.6
No,
billion
it was like,
or something?
I thought it was a lot more than that.
I don't know. Look it up.
The number
look it
sticking out in my head, I might be way off, but
No,
I'm
I thought
thinking
it was like 1.6 billion or something.
I thought it was like 13 billion or something.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I could be wrong. It's been a while.
4.05 billion.
Holy cow!
Okay.
So a little bit more than 2.6.
Lots of bees in there.
The deal included the rights to the Star Wars franchise, including existing films and the ability to create new Star Wars movies, TV shows, and other merchandise. Sale also included Lucasfilm's other properties like the Indiana Jones franchise and Industrial Light and Magic. Has he really done anything since?
I don't believe so.
I mean, dude just wanted to retire. He's
Yeah.
He's going to check out. Good for him.
Billionaire, yeah, whatever. What is that movie where they go and try to break into George Lucas's house to watch the new Star Wars movie? God, what is that? It's got Dan Fogler. Hang on.
I couldn't tell you.
You guys haven't seen that. You guys aren't true Star Wars fans.
I might not.
Sure.
I might have. I don't know.
Dan Fogler.
The Fogelmaster.
Yep.
Anything else average? All of the new Star Wars stuff that's come out like recently.
Oh no. That's
No, except the Mandalorian.
It's
Ashoka was
coming.
okay.
Yeah, The Mandalorian's been good. The first 2 seasons anyway. We won't
Yeah.
count Jack Black or Lizzo,
No,
but past that.
no, Grogu's pretty cool.
I don't think so.
God, I
black
forgot he was in
lightsaber.
Balls
You
of
don't like
Fury.
Grogu?
Not big on
Have you
it.
guys ever
My
watched
daughter
Balls
loves
of
Grogu.
Fury?
Yeah.
The ping pong
With
guy.
wasn't Christopher Lord in that?
No, it was Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. That's right.
Spaceballs.
Wrong
is funny,
Christopher.
maybe.
Fanboys is what that movie was called. You guys ever seen that? They try to break into George Lucas's house to watch the new Star Wars, and then they come across like a Star Trek convention and they make fun of them.
No, I've not seen this.
I don't know.
Dude,
if
you
I've
guys
seen
need to
that.
watch it. It's so good.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I don't think I have seen that.
It's got Seth Rogen in like 5 different roles. And then even, who's the guy that plays Captain Kirk? I just went blank. Like
Patrick Stewart?
No,
Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk. God, what are we? We're terrible nerds.
I don't know, but he shows up and he like is the one who has like the secret ways to get into George Lucas's house. It's a really good movie. I say good. It's not highly rated movie, but it's
William
a fun movie.
Shatner.
William Shatner, yeah.
God,
Dude, that movie has a lot of cameos though. It's very cameo ridden.
That's one thing about me. Not Star Trek savvy at all.
Yeah. Well,
I like Star Trek. I like some Star Trek stuff.
I've never
the new
I've never
stuff's
seen an
decent.
episode. Never seen.
Have you watched any of the movies?
I've watched the newer ones.
The new ones are good
New
though.
ones
like-
are pretty legit.
I mean, maybe I watched like the first 2. I watched the
Christopher Pine
one.
ones are yeah.
Yeah. I think I watched 2 with him.
The third one is good with Idris Elba as the bad guy. That one turned out to be really, really good.
Yeah, that was good. They were good. I never was a huge Star Trek fan when I was growing up. Obviously, Star Wars. You're kind of, if you're a nerd, you're in 2 groups. You're like a Star Wars nerd or you're a Star Trek nerd. And I think obviously
Yeah.
we're all Star Wars
My
nerds.
mom will
But
never admit this, but she used to have the Star Trek symbol tattooed on her ankle.
Used to?
Yeah, she got it covered up with a butterfly, and she's like, she will not admit that it was a star. I'm like, dude, I know it was there. I saw it. You can't lie to me.
That's funny.
Do you have any Star Wars tattoos? You've got a bunch of tattoos.
I don't. I'm planning on a Vader tattoo.
Dude, you should get a Vader tattoo, half Vader, half Doctor Doom.
I already said
be
that.
On his face?
Did you already say that?
Yeah, I already said that. I told you that I had that idea. I'm pretty sure that's where you got that idea from.
Maybe I did get that.
Cody's like, you'll never believe what I thought
So
of.
actually, I was going to do that. So I have a tattoo appointment coming up in June.
Genius.
And that was my plan. But then I was like, man, I really want to get the nerdy Bigfoot from our Bourbon Nerds thing.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to get a Bourbon Nerds inspired tattoo for the next one and get like Bigfoot, nerdy Bigfoot with the
Chewbacca face.
with Glen Cairn.
You should get a Chewbacca, this exact Chewbacca face on here.
I'm trying to find those pictures of the Doctor Doom, Darth Vader, because it's actually really cool. So it was like Doctor Doom sitting on a throne and then Darth Vader sitting on his throne. And it was like half and half, and it was really, really cool. I think that'd be a really cool idea. Actually, I should just look at my freaking tattoo artist's page because that's where it would be. Duh.
Average. I'm thinking of there's a lot of average stuff in Star Wars. I mean, we could talk about that all the time. I think it's time to go to the bad.
The bad. Oh yeah, right here. So you got Doctor Doom sitting in his throne, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Oh, so it would just be like a line down the middle.
yeah, it would just be like a half and half.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But instead, I was like, you know what we should do? We should do nerdy Bigfoot.
Just an AI Bigfoot.
Yeah, the Bourbon Nerds.
This one's great. Oh,
The trucker hat one?
Yeah, dude, I love that one. So good,
We need to make that shirt. Like
dude.
we need.
That's so good. Yeah, it's a Bigfoot and bourbon. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We just need to add Bourbon Nerds hat on him. Put him a Bourbon Nerds hat.
yeah. I think Bigfoot could be our could be our
mascot?
mascot, not our Sasquatch.
He would be your Sasquatch.
Bigfoot
Yeah.
could be our Sasquatch.
You can be a Sasquatch. You can be whatever he wants. It's 2025. You can be whatever you want. You could even be a dog. All right. So are we ready for our favorite part?
Yes.
It's time to on Star Wars.
Whoa.
I'm not bleeping that
I
out.
went back and listened to the Greg interview. I didn't realize how many times he cussed.
Most of the editing on the Greg interview was bleeping things,
It was pretty great.
Great.
which is fine. You know,
mean, he's
it's
very rock
no big
star.
deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Rockstar. Thanks, Greg.
Okay. Who wants to start? I think let's
Can I just get the cat out of the bag? Kathleen Kennedy, Mother of God, like the worst thing that ever happened to Star Wars.
Oh, I disagree. I think
Okay.
Ryan Johnson is the worst thing that ever happened to Star Wars.
Worse than Kathleen Kennedy?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Ryan Johnson actively tried to destroy the franchise.
You know what Kathleen Kennedy did though is she said there's not like unlike Marvel there's not all these books and lore that you can go back to and
It's like 1,000 books.
she's
of
like
Star
there's
Wars.
never any strong female characters like what the is Leia?
Yeah, Leia's
What is
like one of
she?
the strongest. Like you
are
couldn't
you
get
kidding
more
me?
feminine, like girl power. She's like, She did fight Han off for a while,
just
but
makes
she
you wonder-
succumbed to his
It makes you
charm
wonder,
and wittiness.
Did Kathleen Kennedy ever watch any of the older Star Wars movies before she took over?
Probably not.
And did she even know that the books, like all these books and novels,
There's an
exist?
entire book franchise.
Yeah, she's just like, oh, we don't have all these stories to go back to. Like, okay, Kathleen, get the hell out of here. Get out of here. Go.
So let's hear the hate you have.
So why do you feel like Rian Johnson
Yeah.
did you say purposely ruined it?
I feel like his entire mission was to ruin everything that came before him.
Why?
Because he just like systematically dismantled everything, all of it. None of like after the Last Jedi movie, nothing that came before the Last Jedi mattered. Nothing.
Okay.
Yoda mattered.
No, he didn't. He did not matter because
I guess he does show up in The Last Jedi, doesn't he?
Yoda
he does.
inspired Luke, right?
Actually,
Luke did nothing.
That was the part right before I passed out was when Yoda showed up and was like, "What are you doing, bro? What are you even doing?"
Like if the chain of command there is, Yoda taught and inspired Luke, then Luke does not really do anything and just dies.
He inspired Kylo Ren by almost killing him.
Can we not like just go back and like redo those movies?
I told my wife last night, I showed her the scene from The Last Jedi where at like the very beginning, Rey hands him his old lightsaber and he tosses it over his shoulder. And I looked at my wife and I said, that's the moment where my love for Star Wars died. And she was like, okay, I'm going to bed.
He followed that up by going and drinking out of the of that space cow or whatever.
Space
it was.
cow.
Yeah.
And then he tried to kill his nephew in his sleep for no
Yeah.
reason.
Also, so
he had bad dreams.
Some of the notes I have here. So Rey's past never impacts the plot or pays off. I mean, yeah, like nothing. Like you figure out that she's a Palpatine. That's really about
basically it. Yes.
And
Which
it's
still
like,
doesn't make sense.
which she was never. So she was never intended to be a Palpatine until J.J. Abrams like panicked and was like, "Oh, we should."
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think they were going to make her parents matter at all. And then
I think the initial idea I thought was that she was a nobody, and the message was you didn't have to be someone with a great family lineage,
Yeah.
to like be I don't know.
A great Jedi.
And they're
Yeah,
like, no,
exactly.
we should make her a Palpatine. That's the only
Super
reason that she could
Saiyan
be Kylo Ren. Another one I had was character stories wasted or forgotten. Captain Phasma. What the hell is she supposed to be?
No
You
idea.
get the girl who plays Brienne of Tarth to play it, and then she just like does nothing for 3 movies.
I think the character of Finn was a big time wasted opportunity.
Finn, yes.
Could you imagine like him leading a stormtrooper rebellion or something like that?
Yeah.
And instead he just
Why is he the only stormtrooper to ever be like, oh, this is bad?
Yeah.
and
What
he
am I
just
doing?
flipped sides and is immediately like, "Hey, comrades, I'm going to slaughter you all. No big deal."
Because I kind of thought the stormtroopers is like the Unsullied in Game of Thrones, where they just kind of do what they're told. You know,
Yeah.
it's like none of the Unsullied kind of went off and did their own thing. So it's like, what made Finn kind of be like, oh no, this is bad. I've been trained this way my whole life, but all of a sudden it's bad.
And I thought like 95% of the stormtroopers were clones from Boba Fett.
Well, they kind of established in The Force Awakens that they were kidnapping children and like as babies and then making them into stormtroopers because they ran out of clones.
Kind of like the Unsullied. You know, they take you
Yeah.
as children and they chop off your genitals and turn you into a soldier.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
remember
it
that
makes
now.
sense that
I'm not saying that that's what they do to the stormtroopers, but
I think there was like a 30 or 40 year time gap between the old movies and the I guess the sequels, and they say they just ran out of clones.
Okay. That
I
makes
also
perfect
put-
sense.
So Snoke. Can we talk about Snoke for a second? What the hell? And I get it, you know, they kind of turned it into him as a meat puppet for Palpatine in the third one, but that wasn't the plan. So
Not
you
at
were
all.
just planning on this, like, you never see like his true power really. Like it's like
No.
he's just totally pointless.
Exactly. That was all Rian Johnson. I think the whole premise of Rian Johnson's idea of Star Wars is I'm going to subvert your expectations. So the big bad that's controlling everyone and controlling everything, we're just going to kill him halfway through. Okay, now what?
And the Knights of Ren. What the hell are the Knights of Ren? You never really see.
Could you name one?
No.
Exactly.
I mean, they made Funko Pops for all of them. They're all worth like $1 a piece. Because I read backstories. They're all really cool characters that could have been really interesting
they
in
are.
the
Sure they
whole. But like, I don't know.
Isn't that what Star Wars has become? Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah,
I
big
mean,
time.
honestly, I hate to
Yeah.
say that. Something that we are near and dear to our heart. Like we want it to be good. We want to
I mean-
like love this Star Wars new stuff, but it's It's garbage. Like, they should go back and just axe it all and redo the
I
last
was laughing
three
when I
movies.
saw the Acolyte using like metal detectors to search for the Force, and I'm like, "What are we doing, guys? What are we doing?
It's here. I know it.
The Force is here somewhere." I was like, "Isn't the Force a feeling? Like, I don't know what you're searching for."
I just like, I remember, I think the most hyped I've ever been for a movie in my life was The Force Awakens. And
it wasn't even that bad. Like, it was okay.
It was okay.
It was okay.
There were bad things about it.
Yeah,
but
because
it was
we're over
okay,
hypercritical.
Maybe this stuff will pay off later.
Yeah.
And
And then it just didn't. Yeah. It didn't.
It could have been worse, though. Like, look at the crap we've got now. Look at the third movie.
Dude, I was cussing so hard walking out of The Last Jedi.
The Last Skywalker?
I remember the Last Jedi. I watched it, and
Last Jedi? Is that
The Last Jedi is what it's called.
okay.
Yeah, you're talking about Rise of Skywalker.
Sorry.
the
that's
Rise of
second
Skywalker.
one.
That was
I don't even
that
hate
was the
Rise
third
of
one.
Skywalker that bad because I was like, expectations were so low, and I'm like, okay, it was okay, whatever. But The Last Jedi, I was like, F this movie, dude.
It
F
reminded me of
everything
like
about this movie.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Dragon Ball Z, and like a fairy tale movie just like together.
I sit there and I try to think, like, okay, we're going to pretend you're a person at Disney, right? You're in charge of this whole thing, right? You just get the rights to Star Wars. You've got the three main actors from the 70s and 80s that are like, yeah, let's come back. Let's do more Star Wars.
And I don't think any of them were very impressed by this
No,
trilogy.
but imagine you're the person in charge and you make the decision. We're never going to put those people on the screen together. They're never going to talk. Han and Luke never have any
'cause
dialogue.
He gets killed in the first movie.
Exactly. Like,
and on that point, real quick, do you think that Han helped his son kill him just so he could stop with the struggles, or do you think like Kylo Ren actually just pulled the trigger?
oh,
Because
I don't know.
that's a whole theory where it's like
Han did it for him.
Han did it for him so he could
Maybe.
not struggle so much. But
I think he helped.
That's the thing
It's
is
hard to
with
know.
these
You
new
don't see.
movies, I don't think it's that deep. I really don't. Like back in the day, we could talk about Star Wars and get super into conspiracies and
I think for the
those
first
kind of
one,
theories.
you can
But
kind of get a little.
I really don't think it was that deep at all. I think they were just kind of going with the flow and did whatever they thought was good at the time. You know, that day. This sounds like a good idea. Sure.
Also, can we talk about Leia's force flying through the space?
Space quantum physics.
I'm like, what are we doing here, guys? I remember watching that in theaters, and I'm like, what? How did that happen? What is going on? She's just out in the middle of space. She's just like, oh, beaming myself back to the ship.
Let me fly through
Honestly,
here.
it could have been an interesting moment if you just let Leia die right there. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
But you didn't.
I sent that picture. I don't even remember that girl's name, but what is
The purple hair girl?
who is she?
Holdo. Laura Dern. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like
Who is she and what is her purpose in the whole movie? Like, and then Poe Dameron just becomes like this, like, oh, I'm not going to listen to anybody character. And
Well,
like,
I mean,
oh
the
my God,
purpose
they just-
that Holdo lady serves is to sacrifice herself at the end. I feel like that was a story point that they came up with the end of the movie, what she was going to do, and then they like wrote her character based on that.
like she's gonna stay around and annoy people and then
think-
die.
I think the one thing that they could have done in the third movie to actually make it, I say salvageable, but I don't know, is actually, if you wanted to do the flip on Kylo Ren, why not flip and let Rey go into her evil?
That's the thing. I couldn't believe when I walked out of the third movie and Kylo Ren ended the movie as a good guy, you know, fading away into the Force, whatever. And Homegirl was just good the entire time. Like, she had no story points as a character. Nothing ever changed about her from the beginning of the first movie.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. Except she got really powerful like overnight.
Well, that's the thing is she apparently was that way the entire time because she never fails at anything.
Yeah, ever.
Like
she's like the Superman of the Star Wars universe.
No, she's like the Captain Marvel, who's just way
Captain
stronger
Marvel.
than everybody.
Sure.
For
And it's
no reason.
unexplained. Yeah.
She's just the strongest character in Marvel, even though in the comic book she never was. But
Yeah.
you know, whatever. Brie Larson. Anyway, going back to the second one a little bit, what is the purpose of going and getting this coder that you never end up using anyway? Like the whole scene where they go off to the freaking casino planet, and then they show like this kid who could potentially have the Force that you never come back to, and then you show all this like this gambling and all this, and then it's like
That's way more important.
You get Benicio del Toro, who already seems like a sketchy character, and you're like, oh, he's this big coder, and then he just comes like, oh no, I just turned on you guys, and then you guys didn't need him all along anyway. Like, what was the point of that whole series?
I'm just dumbfounded. I truly am.
Did you just need to fill the gap? And you're like, what can we do to really just kind of screw the fans? Oh, we should go to this casino world where all this greed and gambling is going on, and then maybe a kid will like mess with a broomstick and be like, oh, maybe he's something.
You remember? I think the whole thing that kicks off this, like the plot on that casino planet, was they get arrested for a parking ticket.
Oh yeah,
isn't that right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
They're like, hey, you guys parked the Millennium Falcon in the wrong you parked in the wrong spot, so we're gonna arrest you.
Also, how did Han Solo and Chewie find the Millennium Falcon? Like, it was on Jakku this whole time.
They're just there.
Was it just because they started it up and they're like, oh, now we have a beacon to where this place is?
No idea.
It just, and they're like, oh, we haven't seen this ship in forever. Like,
yeah. I mentioned it we have like a little Bourbon Nerds group chat, and I mentioned it last night when I was rewatching these movies. Is so that Maz Kanata lady, she just randomly has Luke's lightsaber that he was holding when his hand got chopped off and fell into the abyss on, what was that planet? The Cloud City, Bespin. And anyway, 35 years later, she has this lightsaber and she goes, that's a good story for another time, guys. And then it's just never explained after that. They never bring it back up. Nothing. And that's just kind of Disney Star Wars in short, is they just kind of do stuff. They don't think about it. They don't think about the repercussions of what they're doing. They just do it.
Let's take a break from the hate.
No.
Hate leads to fear. Fear leads to the dark side. We're gonna try this haystack needle by Redwood Empire. Thank you, Theron, for the sample. 118 proof.
And the cast strength.
It's a single barrel.
Pipe dream.
Oh yeah, cast strength.
Is this their highest proof? 118?
That's kind of high. The haystack needle is 118. The cast strength's actually only
115.
115.8.
Boom, nailed it. All right, I'm smelling the haystack. This is one that I wish I would have got.
I'm really disappointed in myself. We went to the Specs Drop and I passed this one, and I'm like, man, I
couldn't.
I don't know how I would pass Redwood.
Yeah, you shouldn't have not have passed that.
Theron has a couple buddies looking for me a bottle because I'm gonna end up getting one eventually.
Smells yummy.
Oh, I already tried it. It's really good.
Smells like bourbon, brown sugar.
No kidding.
I don't get it. It just smells like traditional bourbon to me. Like, you get the brown sugar, you get a little bit.
I don't remember which one I poured.
I'm not sure either, buddy.
I think this one might be I think this one's a haystack. These are both very similar, actually. Oh man, that's got a nice butterscotch note on it.
The haystack, yeah, a little butterscotch, get a little bit of nutmeg.
I wish I had this bottle.
Hold on. There's a lot of flavors in it. It's very complex. I like it. Mouth feels great. Man, there's something in there I cannot put my finger on. Something fruity.
I kind of
like plum.
I kind
or
of
something?
joked when you guys said it, but this is just like super traditional.
I know.
There's really nothing that stands out.
Well, the nose,
about it, but man, it's good.
Yeah. Well, the nose, there's nothing that stands out, but on the tongue, can you get that fruit note? I can't pick up that fruit. It's a zinger. It's almost like a gusher.
Okay. That's how I felt about that stag that one time. Is like almost like a fruit explosion on the end, kind of like a gusher.
I didn't get it as much there. I got more of the butterscotch, but I was beginning the first couple sips. But I'm gonna let that chill for a little bit. That's really good.
That's one thing I was kind of wanting to ask you guys. So I know that you're supposed to pop the bottle and let it rest for a little while, right?
Well, it's not that. So you're supposed to pour it into the glass and then let it sit for like 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay. That's what I never understood was if you're supposed to, the wait time was supposed to be when you pour it or when you just pop the bottle.
Usually when you pour it. Okay. Is how, like, you pour it and I usually let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. That's if I'm patient enough to wait.
He's
like
not.
Last night I was not. I was like, oh, Jack 10, ooh, Jack 12. I had a good
bourbon experience while you're watching Star Wars movies.
You've been having a good couple nights.
I was like, I had to because I was about to watch some of the worst Star Wars movies.
You have to drink good bourbon when we're watching bad Star Wars movies.
God, can we talk about shirtless Kylo for a second? Like, why?
I forgot about that.
Why?
Man, yeah.
You get all this sexual tension between him and Rey, and then they end up like being, I don't know, were they Did it seem like they were like a thing at the end? I don't know.
No, I never got that vibe.
I mean,
from
there
them
was
at
some
all.
sexual tension there for sure.
I never really picked up on that.
Tension?
I don't think.
It almost seemed like a triangle between her and Kylo and
then
her and Finn.
Yeah.
I never really got like sexual tension from them. I thought it was almost like jealousy. Like Kylo was just jealous of her the entire time.
Well, he's got like his shirt off. He's like, "Oh, I can see you. Can you see me?" Well, and then her and Finn had like a thing in the first movie, and then he ended up going. I can't think of the Asian
Rose?
girl. Rose, who tries to randomly commit suicide. Whose also character was assassinated. I don't know. It's just weird.
And
all the character assassinations that happen, and you're like, why? Why are we doing this to these characters?
the funniest thing I think in The Last Jedi to me, like when I think about the things that are just kind of comical but not franchise killing, is when they're recreating the Hoth thing, and they're on a white planet with all these gigantic Empire robots coming at the very small group of rebels. And there's one guy who picks at the white stuff and he's like, "That's salt." They had to clarify to the audience, this is not snow. We're not on Hoth, but we're doing the same thing.
Yeah. It's salt. Okay.
That's salt. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's salt for your wound.
Star Wars fans.
And Kyle's like, more. Yeah. You gotta kill Luke with lasers. He should have known then that wasn't Luke, because he's like, oh, it didn't hurt him at all.
And then, I mean, we as the audience know that Luke shows up with the lightsaber that Rey has, like 200 feet behind him. And I don't know.
And then he dies of being tired.
Then he dies of being tired.
After drinking a lot of space cow milk.
Hey, man. Space cow milk.
Space
drains the
pants.
soul, apparently.
I am wearing space pants.
He's probably like, I can't carry this unbearable worthless franchise on my back
Unbearable weight of
anymore. I'm so
massive talent.
tired. Yeah, massive. He's like, I got it. I'm out.
There's this song that kind of comes up in my Instagram reels every once in a while. It's like a metalcore song, and the hook of the
Kylo
song.
Ren?
No, it's the hook is my childhood finally died on the day that Luke Skywalker died from being tired.
Yeah. Well, like Mark Hamill kind of hates the Luke Skywalker
big time
character, because he's like, and I understand, like, from his point of view, he's like, I do a lot of good acting and do different things. Like, he's the Joker. Like, he does an amazing Joker on the Batman animated series.
Debatably the best Joker.
Yeah, I voice for sure. I mean, because he's not really there, because
he's never done a live action.
No, he's never live. Yeah. That would have been cool, though, to have him do
There's a lot
action.
of good, like, red carpet interviews with him that are similar to, like, the cast of Game of Thrones when they were promoing season 8. And all the actors are just like, yeah, it's great.
It's great.
Yeah,
Be sure to watch.
Bro, the best Mark Hamill thing is Cock Knocker.
No idea what that is.
I have no
Jay and
idea.
Silent Bob Strikes Back. Have you ever watched Jay and Silent Bob
okay.
Strikes Back? Oh, dude, you got to watch it. Carrie Fisher makes a cameo as a nun. And Mark Hamill makes a cameo as the bad guy in the Jay and Silent Bob movie, and he's Cock Knocker. And Jay pulls out like this bong that turns into a lightsaber, and he goes, "We're so getting sued." Dude, you gotta watch it.
I've seen it. It's been a
anything
long
Kevin
time.
Smith, like you can tell he's a huge Star Wars guy.
I've never really watched any of the Kevin Smith like parody
they're
stuff.
So good.
Yeah.
No, but they're not even parody. They're like his own movie. Like you have Mallrats. You have the.
I watched Jay and Silent Bob, but
So do you? Well, Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back was that one.
was that not? Isn't that like the sequel?
No, that was the first Jay and Silent Bob.
Maybe
movie.
it was. It's just
They have
been a
Jay and
long
Silent
time, I
Bob
guess. I
Strike
don't
Back,
know.
and then Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which is also pretty good.
Maybe
he comes out as Iron Bob. It was like more of a.
Yeah, they're funny. I haven't
Marvel
seen the reboot, but I have seen the original one.
The Strikes Back. Yeah,
I remember now. Yeah, I can't remember what his name was.
So they tell Jay and Silent Bob what the rules of the road are, and you got to go down on somebody.
Yeah.
And so then Carrie Fisher picks him up as a nun and is like, "Oh, you." And they're like, "Oh, you follow the book?" And she's like, "Yeah, I follow the good book." And so they try to go down on, and she kicks him out of her car. But it's a great.
Almost get like a peach, like those peach rings.
Peach rings, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I get.
Saying
see that.
a little bit lately.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm telling you what I feel.
You've been eating a lot of peach rings lately.
No, I haven't. I don't even like those. I just remember eating them before, and they're very distinct. But
These are both very good. I actually really enjoy this cast strength.
I want to do comparison to cast strength in the 101 though. Cast strength's got a really good finish on it.
It's a lot higher proof though.
It
probably,
is.
It probably beat the 101.
But I really like
good.
the
101's good.
The
No, I like the 101.
the back end palette. The finish is really good on
Do
that.
you guys have a favorite of all of this stuff we tried today? Honestly, this Devil's Tower really impressed me.
Devil's Tower did.
The single malt, I was really surprised by how good that was.
It was actually pretty good, yeah.
It was very sweet because it smelled like a Scotch. I'm like, man, I'm not going to like this. But when you try it, it's
I don't know. Honestly, I think the Screaming Titan's
good.
And then I really like this.
The Haystack Needle?
The Haystack Needle.
I think if I'm picking a winner, I don't remember what the name was, but the one with the deer on the label.
Oh, really? The
single malt?
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe
he's a Scotch guy. Well, it didn't really.
That's kind of what Scotch is like a single malt kind of thing.
Well, there's a bunch of different things.
And I've seen this in stores. It's like $70.
Really?
But yeah, you can get this bottle.
We need to pick up the Jack Daniel's single malt.
You can pick that one up.
I will. I'll pick that up. That's fine.
I'm actually trying to get the single barrel proofs. I want to get. Did you see my text where I showed you the Coy Hill warehouses?
Oh yeah.
8, 9, 10, 11, and 13. So if I see one of those with one of those warehouses, I'm going to grab it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, I mean, it's a Coy Hill barrel. So
basically,
maybe it's good. Yeah.
And probably delicious. Coy Hill's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got to think. Honestly, we would need to revisit these to see which one really just none of them just like knocked my socks off. But I do like the Pipe Dream 101.
I was really surprised by the Foggy Barrel. Like
Foggy Barrel's pretty good. Yeah.
But the Devil's Tower is a really good rye.
Devil's Tower is really good. It was very unique.
I really kind of want this bottle now because I've been enjoying rye a lot more recently.
I have noticed that. Well,
I feel like
welcome to the dark side.
I've noticed that as well. He's always posting about his ryes.
Yeah, I had a rye night.
Once you turn rye, you never go back, man.
Yeah, I finished that 10-year rye I had.
Welcome to the dark side. We still have that old Hofer hole you left at my house forever.
Yeah, I need to try that again and see what I thought.
It's a very bourbon-y rye.
Yeah, it's a very bourbon-y rye, for sure.
It's good, though. They're coming out with a 12-year-old hole.
I think they're just going to keep doing it.
Yeah, keep going up.
They're just going to keep going up every year because there's 11-year.
Yeah.
Like it's sitting at Specs right now. You can go get it right now.
I know.
At Specs.
Yeah, it's $100 too. It's not too bad for an 11-year rye.
I guess.
I mean, $10 per year.
Have we talked about the Book of Boba Fett yet?
No, we did not.
You've mentioned it a couple times.
Did you watch Book
You
of Boba
hate
Fett?
it, apparently.
I did, yes.
Okay.
I regret very much so watching it.
I don't
hate the origin for him and everything kind of they tried to do with it. But then they threw the Mandalorian in the middle of it. And it's like, well, obviously, this isn't working because you had to throw 2.
That was the best episode of the season.
There's 2.
Yeah.
There's 2 back to back of just the Mandalorian.
It was
like,
where it just like follows Grogu around, right?
Like, this isn't the Boba Fett anymore. And then it just kind of, I would say, I can't even remember how it ends. I remember how it kind of begins.
He's got his little crew on, what was it, Tatooine, the planet they were on, and they all have these really colorful motorcycles they're driving around on.
Something like that. I don't know. I just remember being really disappointed by the season because you had Book of Boba Fett and then you had Obi-Wan, and I'm just like, you guys just keep letting me down. Why should I watch anything going forward? You know? So
yeah. That sentence kind of describes my Star Wars
Danny
fandom.
Trejo's in it, so I mean, it can't be too bad.
Did you say Danny Trejo?
Yeah.
Majete's in it?
He's in what? Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah, he's in it.
I don't remember him being in there at all.
You don't remember his character?
No.
He's like this like assassin dude. Like
he's an assassin.
Or not like he's kind of like.
Is he Machete?
Yeah, he kind of is in a way.
He's got a niece and nephew that.
I don't.
Well.
Not win
because I was kind of I felt pretty good because the Mandalorian first 2 seasons are pretty good, right? And I'm like, okay, well, they're doing a pretty good job, so maybe the television's kind of where they're going because the movies aren't really working. And then Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan come out, and I'm like, bro, this just isn't it. Mm-hmm. I watched like half of Ahsoka, and Ahsoka was okay. That scene where she kind of goes into the dream sequence and with her and Vader are really, really good. That's like peak current Star Wars, which is really not hard to do.
They're kind of turning me off with all this stuff where they introduced Jedi Master Luke, right?
Yeah.
This is the first time we've ever seen Prime Luke on a screen.
I actually really like that scene. I don't know.
So the problem is to me is like, this should have been what episode 7 was. Why was this not episode 7?
Absolutely.
Showing Luke doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I almost feel like they're retconning it.
I do too.
It almost feels like that's what they're doing.
They're like, oh crud, we killed Luke Skywalker for no reason. We've got to show him being cool a little bit
because he got tired. Yeah, I thought that scene was awesome though when they showed.
I thought so too. Like visually, and I mean, it's cool because
it's badass. It almost kind of reminds me of the Vader scene in Rogue One, where he just
It's
comes
very
in
similar.
and just beats the crap out of everybody.
yeah, I mean, there's like a father son kind of dichotomy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But it just kills me because that's what those movies should have been. It should have been Luke Skywalker doing stuff like that on screen in a movie theater.
And that's
but
what
it
George
wasn't.
Lucas pitched to them, is like, this is what you should do.
And it feels like now they're doing all that kind of stuff retroactively because what they did on the movies made no sense and they just killed them off for no reason.
Yeah. Can we go back and just erase those movies?
I think I would be a happier person had I never watched any of those movies.
Yeah.
I
It's
think a
sad
lot of
because
Star
we
Wars
waited
fans
so
would
long.
be. I mean, there's so many, like Fathead, you know, him and his uncle has like the most insane Star Wars collection of just like the old, is it Kenner? It's Kenner. The old figures.
Oh, yeah.
I think he has like all of them, and he even stopped watching some of the newer stuff. 'cause
Yeah,
of that.
all these new shows and stuff coming out, I'm just like borderline checked out. I don't really watch any of them anymore.
So
The
let's talk about
Skeleton Crew.
What even is that?
it's a skeleton crew.
Who cares?
Little kids, they find a spaceship.
Let's talk
and-
about the future a little bit and see kind of how we're looking. So Kathleen Kennedy is leaving at the end of the year, which thank God, but we'll see if that helps, because some of these things that they have in development are kind of worrying me still. So Rian Johnson is going to direct a trilogy.
Sure. That's good.
I feel like if he has his own original thing, maybe it can be good.
It's not real, man. It's a lie. He's never touching it again.
I don't know. They announced it the other day. We'll see. The Mando and Grogu movie is happening. They've shown,
I saw
Except
there
for
was like a
that.
little trailer from that. Yeah.
which I don't know.
Hey, I
what
love
that's
Pedro
gonna be
Pascal.
about.
Don't hate it.
Which I heard that the season 2 of Last of Us is kind of getting butchered right now, but I haven't watched it.
Oh,
yet.
season 1 was phenomenal.
I've heard season 2 is kind of getting pooped on. Sean Levy, who directed some of the Deadpool movies, is directing Ryan Gosling in Star Wars Starfighter. We don't know anything about it, but it's set after the events of episode 9. So Ryan
How
Gosling,
far after? Is it like
I think it's only a few years
the next day or something?
like a few years after, apparently. So,
4 days later.
but Ryan Gosling apparently is a huge fan of Star Wars.
So I mean that right there tells me that there's some new bad guy, right? There's some kind of conflict.
Of course.
If
there has to
there's a
be.
story that they're making a movie about, there's got to be some
but
other kind of
Palpatine's
conflict.
dead,
So
maybe.
Palpatine's just coming back.
maybe it's the redheaded dude, General Hux. Maybe General Hux
No,
actually.
they killed him off.
Yeah.
He dies.
No, but maybe he doesn't die.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I guess. Yeah.
Because you can warp yourself in space.
General Hux returns.
Fair enough. Yeah.
James Mangold is directing a movie. He directed the Logan movie.
Okay.
Yeah, Logan's
I
good.
don't know much about that. Charmaine Obaid Chinoy Ray movie is still in development. For reference, she's the one who said that she loves making men feel uncomfortable, which is like 80% of Star Wars fan base. So
Yeah.
we'll
is
see
good.
how that goes. You know, her directing Ray could, and she directed Miss Marvel, and we see how well that show was. So
Yeah, I mean,
you
that
know.
movie went really well.
Yeah, screw her. Anyway, Taika Waititi is going to direct a movie, which, I mean, he did Thor Ragnarok, and then he did
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Hey, Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah.
But he also did Jojo Rabbit. Jojo Rabbit was good. What We Do in the Shadows. Like, I like Taika Waititi. I feel like he went a little overboard on the Thor movie, but
Yeah. Just
Simon
a little.
Kinberg is doing a trilogy, which
Explain to me who this is and why you dislike him so much.
Simon Kinberg, he produced and wrote a lot of the X-Men movies, right? And he produced and wrote
Like the old OGs with
all of them.
like X3.
All of them.
Okay.
Those are-
What about like Days of Future Past?
So he's directed like 2 movies, and he directed the Dark Phoenix movie.
Okay.
So that kind of gives you a reference of how good his directing skills are. He also produced and wrote the newer Fantastic Four movie, which was horrible.
Oh, like
Oh,
Fan
the
Four
new
Stick
one?
with Miles Teller?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, now.
Okay,
all right,
and Michael
now.
B. Jordan, yeah.
Yeah. If you look at his filmography, like obviously he wrote he wrote some of the good X-Men movies, but he didn't direct them. So like you can write whatever, but if you have a good director,
that's the Zack Snyder thing. He'd be the best cinematographer in Hollywood if he just quit trying to direct movies.
Yeah, for sure. So I have zero faith in Simon Kinberg, and why would you ever hand him a franchise like Star Wars? But I guess we'll see. I don't know. Maybe he'll surprise us. But Dark Phoenix was probably debatably the worst X-Men movie that was out
X-Men
there.
3. It's not even close.
I don't know that I ever watched Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix is horrible. What
X-Men 3 was horrible.
So Brett Ratner directed X-Men 3, right?
Yeah.
What is worse about X3 than Dark Phoenix?
They're both terrible. I mean, I just thought
there's a couple redeeming qualities in X3 where there isn't. And I can't tell you anything good in Dark Phoenix.
I mean, she's powerful. I mean,
and actually, so fun fact, those are both about the Dark Phoenix. So
yeah.
So it just shows you that Fox could not figure out how to do the Dark Phoenix story.
They're both really bad. I'd have to
the
watch
best
them
Dark
next
Phoenix
to each
movie
other.
has been that Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest, where Wanda just kind of goes crazy.
Yeah.
She's kind of doing the Dark Phoenix thing in that.
That's a good movie. That's sick. She goes ham, kills
It is good. I feel like it could have been better if Sam Raimi had been there the whole time, but he was kind of working off of a script that was already there and everything. And he kind of got brought in like right before production was about to start. So you can kind of see like the little Raimi touches here and there.
Yeah.
It has some problems, but I enjoy Multiverse of
I thought
Madness.
it was awesome, dude. It really displayed how powerful she is, which she is an Omega level threat.
She turned old Jim from The Office into spaghetti.
Rest in peace.
Like, smartest man alive, but he tells her how to kill this guy.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, I'll do that. Sure.
He can kill you with one.
Black Bolt can kill you with the one voice from his mouth. And she's like, okay, what now? All right, smartest guy alive. You just got
Deadest guy alive.
Deadest guy.
Jim, you got me. All right, the last thing I have for the future is Maul Shadowlord. How are we feeling about the Maul animated series?
Don't care.
I don't know.
The level of don't care that I have is through the roof.
We've already kind of gotten a lot of Darth Maul, right? Like,
Yes.
What else is there to tell?
I mean, he's just, running
Obviously,
into
the
the
Shadow
ground.
Lord.
So my question is, we know for a fact Kathleen Kennedy's contract is out at the end of this year.
Yeah, can we get like celebration music over on that?
Well, that's the thing is, I'm assuming
Celebrate
Good times, come on, by Kathleen Kennedy.
so.
Don't
I'm
let the door
assuming
hit you on the way out.
I'm assuming that all of these things were greenlit by Kathleen Kennedy, right? Are we assuming that all of this is going to actually happen?
No.
I think once she leaves, they're gonna be like, all right, we're not doing the Ray movie. We're not doing this movie.
Exactly.
Like, who's taking over? Like, they haven't really said who's taking over. I assume I would put it in Dave Filoni's hands.
I don't want that.
Why? You know, like
He's
Dave Filoni?
he's too obsessed with his own people,
Who's his own people?
like Ahsoka, the Mandalorian.
Oh,
The-
okay.
They're all over the place.
What
They're
about
everywhere.
Dave Favreau? Do you think Dave Favreau would be
Jon
good?
Favreau?
Oh, Jon Favreau. Sorry.
Yeah, John Favreau.
I mean, yeah, he'd be fine.
Be
I don't
better
know.
than what they have.
Yeah, he'd certainly be better than what they have.
I mean, he's done good work in the MCU.
They just need to get someone in charge who just leaves all of this behind and is like, okay, let's tell an original
Reboot.
story from 10,000 years prior.
Bro, you know who'd be perfect? And I don't think he would ever do this, but Kevin Smith would be perfect at taking over some kind of nerdy franchise.
Yeah.
'Cause Kevin Smith is a huge comic nerd. He's a huge Star Wars fan. He's a huge DC and Marvel guy. He actually was writing the Superman movie for Tim Burton back in the day. Like, he's been there, done that kind of thing.
That's
Like,
actually
it
not
never
a bad
happened, but-
idea. Like, obviously, we want it to not be comedic. Or you can have comedy in it, obviously. But
I mean, he's
I don't
done
want the
horror.
Marvel humor in it.
No,
like there's
like the-
you can have it be funny, but I don't want
like
the
forceful
who
jokes.
talks first. You talk first.
Well,
I talk first.
I'm
I
not
talk
saying
first.
he has to direct him. I'm just saying,
No,
like,
right.
if he puts the right people in places to be successful.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, but they're not ever going to do that. They would never make the right choice to do that. That's
I don't know.
interesting. That's an interesting
I don't
take,
know
though.
who's- Like, I think I heard Bob Iger's is going to leave Marvel or leave Disney again. So I don't even know who's going to be in charge.
Hey,
of
George
it.
Lucas is
I
still
saw-
alive.
heard that. Who's the guy who's in charge of Marvel right now?
Feige,
Feige. I heard Feige could take over Star Wars.
maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, he's not done the best in the past couple of years with Marvel either.
Well, I think that I don't know if that was all Feige's fault though, because there was another Bob before Iger came back, and all he wanted was to push Disney Plus stuff, and
All the
Yeah.
TV shows.
I think he just put too much stuff out there, and Feige couldn't like go in and kind of put his little touch on everything, and so I think that's where your quality control issues come. But at the same time, you know, you've kind of slowed down lately, and it's still been pretty average. So I don't know.
Well, we've got the Thunderbolts May 2nd.
Thunderbolts looks really good, and I've heard test screenings have been really, really good.
Yeah.
So
I just with Star Wars, like it's just there's so much time that they could play with. I don't know why they feel the need to have everything be so interconnected.
I agree. There's so many amazing characters.
Yeah.
There's so many stories. There's so
let's
many.
go to the Old Republic.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I'm actually shocked that they haven't tried to do that yet, because
I thought they were.
I feel like Kathleen Kennedy just looks like, oh, that's moneymaker there.
To
Let's
be
go
honest,
and ruin that.
the first time that they tried anything outside of like Luke Skywalker's lifespan in the 30 years prior was the Acolyte show, and that did not go well.
But that's
at the end they try to bring in Darth Plagueis too.
who was the director?
Yeah.
Who was the director of that?
I couldn't tell you.
Of the Acolyte.
Oh, Headland, something Headland. She's, of course, like, one of those people.
I mean, like if you look at, don't think of the show, but like think of the premise of the Acolyte. Like they could have made that really
Leslie
cool.
Headland. Leslie Headland.
They butchered it. It's awful. Like Jar Jar Binks back in the day when we first came out, awful. Man, you look back at Jar Jar, like you kind of going back and watching the movies, you're like, okay, he's not as bad. Why did we hate him so much? It's like Star Wars fans want to hate someone, but now they've given us and I was really hopeful when Disney bought it, they were just going to pump money into it. And
I was too. When Disney bought it and they were like, hey guys, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and what's his face? They're all coming back. And I was like,
Harrison Ford.
We're so back. Yeah. This is it.
We are back, but we were not.
Did you guys?
But not really.
Something I noticed the other day. Did you guys know that The Force Awakens, the movie that kicked all of this off, is 10 years old?
We're old.
That's been 10 years.
That's crazy.
That Disney's been doing this.
10 years and they're getting worse. They're getting worse.
It's been 10 years, right? The time period between the last like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker movie, Revenge of the Sith, and The Force Awakens was 9 years.
What pisses me off about it is it's not that freaking hard. You got lightsabers, force powers, and great timelines.
But the problem is you keep bringing in these filmmakers who have agendas, and they have to cover these agendas, and they have to, like Leslie Headland is a great example with the Acolyte. She's like, I'm a lesbian woman, and I got to bring in my stuff. It's like it's gotta have this and this and this, and it's like, why can't you make a fucking Star Wars movie? That's all we want. Beep. That's all we want is a freaking. We just want a Star Wars. We just want a Star Wars story.
I want an R2D2 movie, just straight up R2D2. Facts and copies of stuff.
That's my thing about like the Oscars and all this stuff. Is like you have to meet a certain quota to do this, and you have to do this, and like
it all feels so corporate.
Why?
Yeah,
I don't even care if you're. I don't care about all the.
I don't care if you want to make a musical about Hispanic
pronouns and all that. It's not even about that. It's just like make a decent movie, cast the right people.
That's all we want.
It's not hard. Like I want to see us blowing some crap
up. A lot of
up.
studios don't want to take risks, and they think like
aren't they doing
small group of people are the ones buying all the tickets. I guess
they're doing a Vader series, right?
No,
they're not.
Hopefully
doing
not.
There has not been any talk about a Vader series.
I thought there was going to be.
The Vader series was the prequel trilogy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much what you got there. I mean. How much more can you say you don't like sand? I don't know.
But like,
I don't like sand. That's what they should name like the third episode.
That's like his memoir.
But we weren't like. I mean,
I don't like sand. It isn't fun. He's like a poet. He's like this poetry.
Even episode 1, 2, and 3, though. I mean, like, there's a lot of opportunity to get better. That's under George Lucas. So
the thing is, episode 1, 2, and 3, they introduced so much that made Star Wars like a cool setting.
Yeah, the settings are
like,
great.
Say what you will about the story and the dialogue and the acting, but man, could you imagine the world Coruscant? Like Disney could never be so imaginative to come up with anything like that.
No, that's fair.
And it all felt so original, but it also felt so much just like Star Wars, where this new stuff, it doesn't to me. It feels like Marvel.
It feels like
they came up with flying stormtroopers.
They fly now?
They fly now.
Well, they had jetpack stormtroopers, but I mean, you can teleport from a spaceship.
No, you're thinking of Star Trek.
Dude,
No, I'm talking about Carrie Fisher being out in space,
I
just
know.
zipping through.
So I rewatched the last movie last night. Do you guys remember everything about Kylo Ren and freaking Rey just being able to like talk to each other no matter where they were and have lightsaber battles even when they're in two different places?
yeah.
What in the world? Like, what are we doing?
They have like walkie-talkies attached to the Force.
One of my favorite things that came with the third movie is there's this like edit where it's like Kylo Ren becoming the good guy. And it's like, where have all the good men gone and where are all
The I Need a Hero song?
Yeah, it's like, I need a hero. And he like takes the lightsaber from her and he like starts beating up his Knights of Ren, who are these big badasses. And he just wipes them out in a couple minutes.
My favorite thing about Kylo Ren is like the Saturday Night Live skit where he does the like hidden bosses or whatever. Have you seen that?
I remember that. Yeah,
Dude,
he was like
so
a trash
funny.
compactor guy on the Death Star. Yeah.
Dude, I love, those are
He's like, so what do you think about Kylo Ren?
Unironically, the best thing that.
the first one is actually a lot better than the second one, but there are very funny. He's like, oh, what do you think that she'll accept his hand this time? he's like, oh, I think his lightsaber's kind of weird. He's like, oh, let me go grab it real quick. Like, look at it. Does it look weird?
It's like, oh god.
He's like, what was his name? He's like, man, Greg sucks.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm pretty sure he's Kylo Ren.
Yeah, Greg's such a jerk.
I can't remember what he called himself.
Well, I was gonna say something else. Adam Driver's a good actor too. I've seen some really good movies.
For an Oscar for the Marriage Story or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Ferrari's good. He's good in that. I mean, he's in a ton of good movies.
He was the what should have been casted for Snape. But,
and he could. I mean, he could have been a great. Kylo Ren could have been one of the craziest, awesome. It's just the stories are so convoluted, and
It's just just people running around doing nothing.
and then like you're like, that didn't mean anything.
The last movie, one of the big story points is they randomly find this dagger in the desert that matches up. She holds up and she finds the Death Star wreckage, and the dagger matches up with the Death Star wreckage, and she's like, "That's where it is."
Yeah.
What is happening? Why? What are we doing? Who wrote this?
It's right there, guys.
It's just like they find this dagger in the middle of the desert on a different planet, and she runs to the ocean and is just like holds it up and looks at it and is like, you know what? That's it.
That thing sticking out of the ocean, that's the Death Star, guys.
It's like, how are these people they're being paid to do this?
I don't understand.
For a living, and they can't make a decent movie.
Obviously suffered because the box office got smaller and smaller.
They did.
The greatest,
They could
one of
find
the greatest franchises that ever existed.
There hasn't
could
been
find-
a movie in a long time since the third one.
I just don't understand. Like, just go find some dude walking around with a lightsaber at Comic-Con, and he'd probably write a better Star Wars story than what we
I
just
know,
got.
that for real.
I don't know. I'm dumbfounded by so much of it. I don't get it.
We have to, finish the Emerald Giant because there's no cap. Ty Sims
No
broke
cap,
the.
bro.
He pulled the cork off of my bottle. If you've ever had a cork, I don't even know it was cork rot. Just the cork busted, and we had to get it open. And now
They
there's
say
no
you
cork.
need to turn over your bottles every now and then so the cork stays wet, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
I have too many
Fun
bottles.
fact of the day.
So what else? There's got to, I mean, we talked about a lot. I mean, there's so much that we didn't talk about and we haven't talked about. We could definitely do an episode 2 of this.
What's y'all's favorite scene in all of the? Did we go into rank our Star Wars? We haven't done
Oh
that
no,
yet.
let's rank our Star Wars movies. Yeah.
I want to talk about our favorite scene real quick. Like, what's y'all's favorite scene?
Favorite
ever?
singular scene?
Yeah.
In the entire Star Wars universe?
Yep.
God. Honestly, probably that Rogue One and the Darth Vader scene.
That is a badass Darth Vader scene.
I just and then it's probably bad because I just watched it, but Empire Strikes Back is my favorite movie, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And that scene is just insane. Like I was like, oh my god,
This is a good rye.
yeah, it's a very good ride. The Emerald Giant, yep, it's very good.
I need to get the.
Cast String,
I need to get the rocket top. Is what I need. The bottom on one. I
the
bet it's
rocket
really
top,
good.
yep.
What about you, Ethan?
It's tough for me. I think if I had to pick a singular scene, it's Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul.
I mean, that's a sick scene.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's such a good battle.
Yeah.
Especially when those laser like shields and they're waiting.
They like kind of shut someone off.
Yeah, and you're just like heart's like, oh my god, dude, he's so bad.
And there's just
That's
like
such a
30
good
seconds of Obi-Wan sitting there just waiting, like seething, waiting.
I mean, my friend had a theory where he felt like Obi-Wan used like the bad use of the Force to
a little bit of dark side.
Yeah, dark side to defeat Darth Maul.
Interesting.
Because he used like an illegal kind of jump, and that's why Darth Maul was so like
surprised by it. Yeah.
He's like, whoa.
That's the kind of stuff. So like my rankings of these movies is going to be probably a little bit different than everyone else's because I think the prime age group to watch the prequels coming up and just be bewildered by the sights, you know, like I went and watched The Phantom Menace. I have a vivid memory of watching The Phantom Menace in theaters and being like, my God, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I enjoyed. Yeah, I remember watching.
I also like watching Jake Lloyd in Pod Racers.
That was sick. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching them too, and I was like, there's a few things I didn't like, but I enjoyed them. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like the new movies where I'm like, okay, Force Awakens, all right, that was okay, and then it just got worse and worser.
Mm-hmm. I think my favorite scene is the episode 3, whenever Obi-Wan and him are fighting
on the lava planet.
Yeah, I think that's just that, or whenever he walks in and goes, the kid's like Skywalker, what are we gonna do? And he pulls out his lightsaber.
What?
Whatever, he kills all the younglings. Essentially.
Oh. Why is that funny? That's such a sad
That's
part.
your favorite scene is him killing the younglings? Oh my gosh.
That was a joke.
Oh my God.
That was a joke.
Oh my God.
I think I need to leave.
The kid's just like, oh crap, we're about to die.
Can we end this podcast right now? Garrett is on another level, dude.
He's like
evil bastard.
No, whenever they're on the volcano planet and they're like, you were supposed to be, what did he say?
You were the chosen one.
You were the chosen one. Anakin, I have the higher ground. There's no way you can win.
I loved you. And he's like, I hate you. No, that whole thing was a great sequence. And I think that really kind of summarizes the relationship between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. So I don't know. And they kind of ruin it later with the Obi-Wan series and stuff, but...
Dude, the abominable snowman could have like ruined everyone's life, dude.
He could have ate Luke for sure.
He just eat out of Luke. Yeah, dude. If you didn't eat the little Tatooine thing or whatever, that fat thing that he gets inside of, like, I'm like, I just,
when he gets inside of it to keep warm.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of
they
like
slice it open.
Yeah, the abominable. Yeah, I'm seeing the Family Guy episode.
What if he had eaten that before? Yeah,
the Tauntaun. Yeah, but the abominable snowman could have just been like, "You're dead," and then Empire wins. Game over, boys.
Han Solo would have somehow gotten the Force, right?
Yeah, but that scene with him trying to grab the lightsaber, that's like what that's our childhood.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean, in a nutshell.
Dude,
and that's
Ray
probably
did that in like 10 minutes, man.
She mastered the lightsaber, can throw it, grab it, boomerang it, pick up a mountain with her Force powers.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
She's Miss Marvel. You're right. That's a good comparison.
Man,
But anyways,
dude.
all right. Yeah, no, I think those are. So let's go ahead and let's start ranking the movies. Garrett, I'll let you. You already have this planned out pretty well. So
I want to see what mine is compared to IMDb. I feel like they're pretty off.
I had
all right, so last place. You guys want to take a guess?
Hold on, let me get IMDb.
Is it the last something?
It's the Last Jedi. I hate this movie with a passion. I was cussing when I walked out of the theater.
I'm right there with you. If I could erase any movie from existence, it would be Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi is horrible.
I agree. And for IMDb, is it
IMDb?
Yeah. IMDb. Sorry, I don't know. Sorry, it's been a long day. Number 11 is Solo, a Star Wars story. I disagree with that.
Yeah,
I would also put that there. I think
so. Number 10, I have episode.
You would put it there as well.
I think so.
That maybe that much. I thought it wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible.
My number 10 is episode 2, Attack of the Clones, because I just have no idea what they're even doing in this movie.
I love it.
I feel like George Lucas had no idea what is going on.
That one's like top 4 for me. I love it.
Episode 2, Attack of the Clones?
Yes.
Why?
Because like I just have such fond memories of it being a kid. I didn't care about any. Yeah, it's nostalgic. I didn't care about any of the bad stuff. I cared about, man, like Obi-Wan's fighting this guy with a jetpack on a rain world. That's awesome.
Yeah. So number 10 for IMDb is the Star Wars Clone Wars.
The show? Or
No, the movie.
the movie? Okay, Attack of the Clones.
Oh,
No, the Clone Wars.
What is the Clone Wars?
Oh wait, I
That's
guess
the
it
TV
is.
show.
Yeah,
That's the animated show.
Oh, the animated. I
I think
actually thought that was
I think
decent.
the second one is probably the worst of the prequel trilogy.
Why do they have that ranked in the movies? Oh well, so then 9 for that would be episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
No, episode. So number 9 for me is The Rise of Skywalker.
I would put it down there. Yeah.
I think it's better than The Last Jedi, but it's still not good. Number 8 for me is Solo. I actually kind of enjoyed Solo. I thought it was fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either.
They have Star Wars Attack of the Clones, episode 2.
As number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Number 7, I have The Force Awakens because I thought it was average, but it's not better than any of my top 6. So
They have 7, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
you shut your whorish mouth.
See, I don't agree with these at all. I'm just saying.
So number 6 is Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and the only reason for that really is for the Darth Maul fight.
They have Rogue One really low at number 6.
they're
I
insane.
honestly, I agree because I watched it
love
today
Rogue One,
and or yesterday and today.
I just think the whole movie is
It's so
like, it has
good.
one of my favorite robots.
I am
the
one
whole
with the
movie
Force.
is just
I am
like
one with
such
the
a good
Force.
from front to end. It's just the whole thing is just.
I have
flows
like
really well.
a hate boner for that movie because
I'll
of
fight you.
it's not because of anything that they did. It's that story from like the old books and video games and stuff was a guy named Kyle Katarn who was like this Jedi that trained under Luke after, Return of the Jedi. And they wrote a big book series, and Kyle Katarn was this big character who back in the day stole the Death Star plans, and that's kind of how he became famous. And then Disney retconned that and made their own story. So I was just like, boo, where's my boy Kyle?
Yeah.
So that's kind of why
His name is Kylo Ren, and he was almost murdered.
this is why I'm not as high on that movie as you guys are.
Yeah, but like just think about the movie. Like the movie itself is so good. Like the Andor
I mean,
series.
we're
It's like
ranking
an
them.
Ocean's
Like,
11 in space, and then you have the most badass Darth Vader scene at the end.
yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
even like just
cherry
ranking
on
them
top.
against all the other movies, we're putting them in context of the bigger story, and I just
Yeah.
kind of wish it didn't exist, if I'm honest.
Okay, well, I don't.
So my number 5 is Return of the Jedi. I feel like it's the weakest of the original trilogy. Like it's good.
I would agree.
It's got a lot of good stuff going on.
It's got the green lightsaber. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah, because
necessarily
what's her name's
agree with
holding
that.
on to the blue one. So
I really like the
Yeah,
last
of
Jedi,
course.
the Return of the Jedi, but I don't think it is the weakest of the trilogy. But they have 5 as the Last Jedi, your favorite movie.
whatever. All right. Number 4 might be controversial. It's the very first Star Wars movie, A New Hope.
A New Hope.
Yeah. Number 4.
That's ranked pretty low.
So 4 and 3 can be interchangeable because number 3 is episode 3. What is this one? The Revenge of the Sith is what this one is.
Okay.
And I just feel like Revenge of the Sith had a lot of really good stuff.
So they have
Obi-Wan.
episode 4, The Force Awakens, is number 4.
Oh, God. What is IMDb thinking?
I think that's just recency bias. I don't think that's real. I feel like if you ask the generic person,
And then it's pretty easy for this. They have, so I'm just going to go through these real quick. IMDb, say that correctly. Star Wars, number 3 is The Return of the Jedi. Number 2 is A New Hope. And then number 1, which I hope we all agree, is Empire Strikes Back.
So they just had the original trilogy as the top 3.
Basically, yeah.
Real original, guys.
Spoiler.
Yeah, sorry. So the number 3 is episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I think that one had a lot of really good things about it, and especially the end with him and
I don't think
Obi-Wan's
it's better than
conflict.
Return of the Jedi, but that's my personal opinion.
Number 2, I have Rogue One.
I love Rogue
I'm
One.
just a
I
huge
agree.
fan of Rogue One.
I think it's so good. I watched it. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time.
it's a really good movie. I just kind of wish it wasn't Star Wars.
Yeah. Well,
But then you wouldn't get that badass Darth Vader scene at the end.
yeah.
This is true. This
And
is true.
that's one of the
Debatably the
greatest
best Darth Vader
Vader
scene
scene
of
of
all.
all of them. Yeah. In a newer movie.
What does that say about, you're about to say your number 1. What does that say about your number 1? That the best Darth Vader scene is not in that movie.
Yeah, but the whole movie of Empire Strikes Back
No,
is
I
insane.
am your
I mean, there's a
father.
lot. Yeah, like you get the whole realization that he's the father, and you realize that Luke kissed his sister. Like,
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but it leaves you hanging because nowadays you need the action from the movie
get
that
Boba
came out in
Fett.
2020.
You get Lando, you get Chewbacca, you get
I mean, you get some really good.
I love Empire. Yeah, I mean,
Empire. What is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Empire.
Okay, yeah.
Favorite,
You can't, like, that's such a good movie. The what are those when they're in Hoth and the little bee fighter? What are those called? The land when they have to put the harpoon around the
X-wings.
Yeah, no, those aren't X-wings. What are they? X-wings?
Oh yeah, they harpoon around the AT-AT's legs.
Yeah. I mean, that's just so.
Yeah, and then Tom Holland's like, "Hey, I watched this really old movie called Empire Strikes Back."
Yeah,
he goes around Ant-Man's feet.
Yeah, man.
What's your favorite movie, Cody? Is it Empire?
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back.
So we're all in agreement. Empire.
I feel like that's
Star Wars.
Yeah, that's pretty consensus.
But Rogue One's nerd too for me. I mean, I love that movie.
It's surprising that Rogue One,
a
newer movie actually made.
And then Star Wars.
Like, where would you put Rogue One on your list?
I personally, I put Rogue One after all the prequels. I have such a love for those movies.
So you put them after the
Sonic
original
3.
trilogy and after the prequels, so like number 7.
Yeah, it'd be down there.
Okay,
and that's fine. Yeah. I mean, that's your personal opinion.
It's the best of the Disney stuff.
Just because you're wrong doesn't mean it's bad.
I mean, I get it. If you watch all those in theaters, and because I watched them after theaters, and I would just. How old are you?
I'm 30. So when the
I'm
Phantom
35. How did I not watch those?
The Phantom Menace when it came out, I was 6 years old and went and saw the Phantom Menace in theaters.
Maybe I did watch them in theater. I can't remember.
You're only 30?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm 35, so
I'm like the old man Rivers over here, Gray Bush.
So I would have been 11 when that one came out, the first one.
Why do you look 40, man? I'm just
It's the beard.
I'm just joking. Yeah.
When I was a sophomore in high school, I got asked what my major in college was, and I was like, "Bro, I'm 14."
I'm living life over here watching Star Wars.
I don't know if I watched them in theaters or not. I might have just watched them.
I watched them in theaters,
back to back to back.
I remember
on DVD.
One of my earliest memories is from my childhood was Father's Day. We went and took my dad to the theater to watch Phantom Menace.
Yeah, no.
And that memory is just unrivaled to me.
I mean, that would sit with me a lot because the Darth Maul. I mean, I'm assuming that in theaters was just insane.
You know, I was 6 years old. I was focused on my popcorn while they're all talking, and then they turn on their laser swords, and I was just like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen."
It does kind of suck that Qui-Gon got killed so early.
Yeah, he was an awesome character.
The robots with the roly robots with the power shields,
the destroyers.
The destroyers are so sweet. But that's what I'm saying. You need to go back and watch the Clone Wars. I don't know why they haven't rated the worst ever, but I enjoyed.
That's the thing is,
it.
I fully acknowledge that those movies have flaws and that the dialogue is not great and the acting is also not great. But man, there's just so much heart in them. You can
I
just see
feel
it.
like episode 2 is just really forgettable because it's like you have the Phantom Menace and you at least have the Darth Maul fight. And then the third one you have the Obi-Wan versus Anakin stuff. And
for me, the second one is Anakin holds 2 lightsabers and fights Count Dooku.
Yeah,
like
it gets beat.
And gets beat. That's a big deal.
Well, Count Dooku's a really tough.
Lord, what is it? Darth Tyrannus was his name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was kind of a bad. It kind of sucks that he just killed off like nothing.
Yeah,
that's I mean, I feel like we're only 5 years apart in age, but I feel like I have a vastly different perspective on that movie than you guys do.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
and it does kind of suck because you go with the whole there can only be 2 Siths, right? And so he was like trying to make room for Anakin to come in.
No,
it's like
that's a good.
Bro, can you imagine having 4 Siths?
Yeah, but I think that's
if you kept Darth Maul and you kept Tyrannus, and then you
Anakin. That's there's an old book series called The Rule of Two where they explain why that's a thing. And there was just there was some fantasy book writer who came up with a story of why that's the case, and George Lucas just kind of ran with it. And then Disney just retconned all of it. Doesn't matter anymore.
He also gave Samuel L. Jackson a purple saber.
He did.
So.
That's true.
That doesn't offend me at all. That's
me
actually
either.
pretty. I think it's pretty cool.
He was like,
I think it's dope as hell.
He told me, he was like talking to him because Samuel L. Jackson tells the story, and he's like, so Luke came up and he was like, yeah, what color saber do you want? And he goes, I want a purple saber. And he goes, well, Jedi usually have green or blue. And he's like, well, why can't I have a purple one? He's like, you're right. You can have a purple one.
Good point. Sure, you want Samuel L. Jackson.
So we can thank Samuel L. Jackson for the purple saber thing because that might have never been a thing without Samuel L. Jackson.
No, I mean we have red ones.
That's not purple.
Yeah.
Ray has a yellow one at the very end of Rise of Skywalker.
We don't care about Ray.
Yeah.
No, someone else had
cousin
a yellow
Ray.
one, right?
Who?
Someone else had a yellow one. It was
No,
Nope. In video games, maybe.
maybe.
Or a
but-
TV
What does
show.
Ahsoka have? Does she have a white one?
Ahsoka's are like white.
White.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ahsoka's is white. And then they have the black one, the dark saber.
Yeah. But then again, that's like post George Lucas, you know, that's
Yeah,
not
it's-
really.
Fairy tale.
Mando has that.
Yeah.
Actually, Darth Maul originally had the dark saber. It'd been cool to see him have the dark saber.
Yeah.
I don't know who's supposed to have it now. I don't know who. Yeah.
Who knows? It's out there somewhere.
It's also convoluted.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Grogu will have it.
Gregor have a dark saber and start
Maybe
murdering
he'll
everyone.
eventually grow big enough to where he can talk and stuff.
Yeah. that'd
I
be
mean,
sick.
he will at some point.
Yeah, like 30 years from now.
Yeah.
They age really slow. in
Yeah.
that.
Yoda was like 900 when he died.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to live to like 900.
He also died of being tired of Luke's bullshit.
He sure did.
He did.
He sure did.
Told him he cannot go out there.
Oh,
But
you're
you did not
visiting me
listen.
again. Oh, I just want to be left alone.
I want my ramen noodles.
Yeah. Yoda, like in the first three, and then Yoda in the second and third. It's sad though, you know.
That was a big point of conflict back in the day with like the OG Star Wars fans who saw the original trilogy as children, grew up and watched those movies and saw Yoda wield a lightsaber for the first time. And
Yeah.
every single one of them got mad about it.
What is the Order 66 or what is the order?
Execute Order
Yeah.
66.
Yeah, where they murder all.
That was where they killed Jedi.
Yeah, which is really sad, but it is what it is.
We're all hopeful Samuel L. Jackson shows up one day. Like
He teleported with the Force through
surprise,
space.
motherfucker.
I was really hoping that was going to be the Obi-Wan series. I really was.
That would be a sick villain. Like that'd be way better than.
Yep.
I mean, who ended up being the villain? Like it was just Anakin.
Yeah, it was just Vader.
Like cool, man.
Vader and that chick.
And Reva wasn't really like a bad guy. She ended up being a good guy all along. She's just a youngling who.
Yeah, she
wanted
just didn't really care.
revenge
She
at
just-
Anakin.
We're gonna
For some
retire this
reason, hated
model.
Obi-Wan.
That's kind of that's a cool backstory for a villain. It just wasn't really well done, I guess. I don't know.
Just made her overly emotional.
Yeah.
So the conclusion of this episode is Redwood Empire is good and Star Wars is not good anymore.
I think, yeah, I'd agree with that.
Hopefully, we get the chosen one to come back and and save the Star Wars Empire. But
Redwood,
we'll see.
they need a chosen one bourbon.
Yeah, they should. With a lightsaber on it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be pretty cool. Maybe
They'd
we'll
get
listen to this
sued by
episode. And
Disney.
they're not sponsors of ours.
Heck
either.
yeah,
They
bro.
get ran
Disney
into-
loves us soon.
They get ran into the ground.
We're
by
going to
Disney.
make you real uncomfortable.
Yeah, we're gonna. I love making men feel uncomfortable. Cool, lady, get the fuck out of Star Wars.
All
We'd
right.
have a lot of bleeps. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Favorite.
I get really passionate about this subject.
That's the thing is, my passion has just kind of been killed at this point.
Yeah.
So you said your favorite character was Darth Vader, which I
absolutely.
mean, Darth Vader's amazing. I couldn't. And who was your favorite
or
character?
Chewbacca.
My favorite character is Darth Maul.
Okay, that's
There's
amazing.
like-
cool.
Darth Maul's amazing.
I mean, him with the spider legs are freaking sick.
Well, that's the thing is, I don't like that they're continuing to flesh out Maul. What I think is so cool about him is the mystery. Like he's just this guy who doesn't really talk, and for some reason has a lightsaber that's different than everyone else's, and he's
Yeah.
like red and black. Why does his skin look like that? I don't know.
Yeah, no, he's cool. I
It's
like
because
him.
of his race, bro.
Yeah,
Don't judge a person by the race.
yeah, racist.
I'm not. I'm just curious.
What about you, Cody? What's your favorite character? Did you already tell us?
I think I would agree with you on Darth Vader, but I have
Lame.
a couple. I mean, my other,
kidding.
I like Han Solo a lot. I think Han Solo.
Non-Darth
cool.
Vader. I would go with Chewbacca. Okay.
I mean,
If we're doing our
Solo's-
number
Han Solo's
twos,
cool.
if we're doing our
R2D2s.
number twos, my number two is Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Obi-Wan's awesome.
Love Obi-Wan.
Yeah, because you
Oh
like the
man, I
first
have
two
a
movies.
dark. I actually built a lightsaber at Walt Disney World. I should have brought. That'd have been really cool.
Next time on Bourbon Nerds
I
Star
could have done
Wars.
the sound like. Because actually, so since mine is custom made, you can put whatever kyber crystal
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want in there. And actually, I either have the red or the purple one. I don't know. I have all the kyber crystals except for the black one because that's like a 1 in like 20 or 30. So it's like I don't want to buy all these kyber crystals just to try to get the dark saber one.
Yeah,
I might buy that off of a Mercari or eBay or something at some point.
well, I don't know. I think that's gonna.
You don't know? You don't know what?
I don't know about what else to talk
I
about.
don't know about what.
There's so much more we could talk about.
We need to talk about if Chewie is Bigfoot of outer space.
I think he is. Yeah. So I don't know, but we know that the Star Wars episode or Star Wars whole universe was amazing, and it's gotten worse. And we hope that they can return it to glory.
Hopefully they can course correct. I feel like they just kind of lost vision of what Star Wars should be about.
Yeah.
I really think they just need to pretend it's a totally new franchise and go way, way, way thousands of years back in time and just have a completely new story.
Just get rid of the Skywalker story.
Yes.
And just do something else.
Just write something. Please write something else.
I don't dislike the Skywalker. I don't think
But
that's
I don't
the
either.
problem.
You need to do something else, though.
That's
like,
not. Yeah, that's fine, but that's
like,
not the problem.
So the problem with adding on to the Skywalker series is the potential to ruin it,
Yeah.
which is what they did.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, all of us have The Empire Strikes Back as our favorite movie, right?
Yeah, it's
that means
amazing.
that they reached the pinnacle of Star Wars in the second movie, and they're still adding on to that 40 years later for no
100%.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We agree.
That's
Agree.
why I'm saying I wish they would just go somewhere
I
else
mean, the
because
prequels
just
where you kind of introduce how Darth Vader got started, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense now at all. The new trilogy makes no sense.
yeah, they've just
There's
built,
nothing about it that makes
I
sense.
don't agree, or I don't disagree at all. It's all over the place.
So go on and ruin, Revan. Go.
Exar Kun, Darth Bane,
Please
Revan.
don't. Please do a good Revan movie. I think it'd be. They talk about Keanu Reeves. I think he's really good at. I think he'd be really good at doing the balance of
like back and forth thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bad and evil, or
Agreed.
bad and good.
All right. Well, I'm Cody,
I'm Garrett.
I'm Ethan.
and we are the Bourbon Nerds. I hope you stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this episode. May the 4th be with you.
Da, 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 da,
Dun, 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 dun. Don't sue us, Disney.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
We're toast.
All right. I appreciate that.
We're so sued.
The Bourbon Nerds podcast is hosted and executive produced by Cody Mills and Garrett Welch. The show is produced, mixed, and edited by me, Ethan Adams. The show features original music by Alex Pitts. You can find the Bourbon Nerds on all the major social media platforms. Please follow, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts or your podcast player of choice. It really does help the show. Please don't hesitate to send an email or message on social media. We love to hear your thoughts, comments, and bourbon suggestions. The Bourbon Nerds would like to remind the audience to always drink responsibly, know your limits, and never drink and drive. Be sure to check in every Sunday for a brand new episode. Cheers!